Goddess Jingwen, this is Mo, you immortal city. The gray-robed, abstruse immortal pointed at the grand city and said, Goddess Jingwen, this is Mo, you immortal city. The gray-robed, abstruse immortal pointed at the grand city and said, So beautiful. Su Jingwen looked dazedly at the huge city standing in the clouds. She had been to 2 immortal cities, and they were a far cry to this. I'll take you to City Lord Estate. Luo Yu continent cultivators don't need to be tested. The least they can do is become an outer sect member. Abstruse, immortal said politely. You're a cultivator from Luo Yu continent? A crisp voice interrupted this gray-robed, abstruse, immortal asking Su Jingwen. The two immediately saw a blue-robed female immortal. She was extremely pretty and her figure was unparalleled. Even Su Jingwen felt ashamed comparing herself to this female immortal. Yes, may I ask who you are, goddess sister? Su Jingwen bowed. The gray-robed, abstruse immortal quickly saluted with his fists. Mo, you immortal sect outer sect members, Yi Chao greet Qianbei. The blue-robed female immortal smiled sweetly. I'm Jin Bingyu, not some Qianbei. Hearing this, Su Jingwen quickly said, Su Jingwen greet goddess Bingyu. Jin Bingyu nodded and asked again, Did you come from Luo Yu continent? She heard Yi Mo say that he came from Luo Yu continent. She had been in solitary cultivation for a decade and just reached great extreme immortal. She really couldn't resist coming to see Yi Mo, so she came here. She didn't know about Yi Mo disappearing with Lu Jingquan. Yes, I came to find my husband Yi Mo. My husband told me to come find him at Gonghua Heaven, Su Jingwen said. Zhen Bingyu shivered, and her face changed a little, but she soon recovered. She knew Yi Mo's wife was on Luo Yu continent, but now she finally ascended. This Su Jingwen was this pretty. She was certain that if Su Jingwen cultivated the body refinement cultivation method Yi Mo gave her, she would be on par with her. Women are the most sensitive. Even though Zhen Bingyu was countless times stronger than Su Jingwen had some thoughts after seeing the expression on Zhen Bingyu's face. Qianbei, if you have no business, Wanbei will take her inside the city. The gray-robed, abstruse immortal said, seeing that Zhen Bingyu didn't talk nor leave. Zhen Bingyu woke up and shook her head. I'm fine. She knew that Yi Mo had wife. She even thought that she didn't care Yi Mo had wife, but now when Su Jingwen stood before her, she realized how hard it was to face it. She didn't care about other things, but she didn't dare to stay in front of Su Jingwen for long. She found that she had plans to leave before even entering the sect. Seeing the two walk off, Zhen Bingyu suddenly said, Su Jingwen isn't outer sect members, she's inner immortal spirit beast. Then, Zhen Bingyu turned to leave. She suddenly wanted to go back to the Chaos Star realm and keep cultivating. Yi Mo stood in this endless bluish-gray space. The ugly Zisu still hung on his back. He had a sense of lost. This was his 10th year in here. In this time, his power completely stabilized at Immortal King middle stage, but there was no improvements. But in terms of battle power, Yi Mo believed even an Immortal Monarch tertiary stage was no match for him. He didn't know if Su, Yangzhu, Jingwen, Qingxue and them were fine. He didn't know how Yi Mo was, he didn't know how Xiaoyan was. He was an immortal king now, but he still couldn't go looking for them, and was instead trapped here. In here, Yi Mo was a king, but this wasn't what Yi Mo wanted. Small Ginseng and Shadowless stood by Yi Mo's side. The two knew that Boss wasn't in a good mood, and talking to Boss now was asking for it. All the star beasts were extremely far, not a single one came over. Even those ones taller than 100 would pretend Yi Mo didn't exist if Yi Mo didn't go over. Boss, that tree is 70 centimeters tall. I heard that if it grows to 3 meters it can serve you as master, but growth gets harder and harder. Small Ginseng said quietly. Yi Mo patted Small Ginseng's head and said, Good job. You've done very well. As for when it can grow to 3 meters, let it go naturally. Seeing Small Ginseng being praised, Shadowless immediately said, Boss, did you notice although these star beasts are scared of us? Small Ginseng interrupted Shadowless, so shameless. Those star beasts aren't scared of us, they're scared of Boss. Why do you keep bringing yourself into it? Shadowless laughed awkwardly, at least I can eat a bunch of star beasts. You haven't contributed at all. Yemo waved his hand, stopping the argument. You want to say that these star beasts won't allow us to go to the river forest valley in northwest? Yemo decided the directions here himself. The river forest valley was a special place. Almost all the 100m or larger star beasts were gathered there, and there was a hanging river. There were also trees with no leaves. The only place with trees in this space was there. The valley was shrouded in bluish-gray, and spirit sense couldn't scan in. They neared there a few times, but was stopped by 100m tall star beasts. Although they couldn't do anything to the three, neither could the three do anything to them. Later on, Yemo knew that with his current power they couldn't get in, so he left. Shadowless quickly said, I meant to say that recently, all those star beasts larger than 30m are heading there. But there are very little star beasts below 30m going in. Hearing this, Yemo realized it was indeed so. The star beasts around him were all below 30m. Yemo immediately felt something happened at the river forest pond. We'll go see as well, Yemo said, and then he heard roars. A few star beasts larger than 30m appeared in Yemo's spirit sense. Soon, Yemo noticed that all the star beasts who came over were missing arms and legs. Their face was full of worry. A few star beasts ran up to Yemo and beckoned while pointing at River Forest Pond with a desperate face. Yemo looked at the star beast and asked, What do you mean? Did something happen there? You want me to help? The star beast kept nodding. Yemo frowned. He guessed the valley probably wasn't some exit, but where the star beast cultivated. That's why he didn't plan that he must go there. While Yemo was hesitating, Shadowless immediately said, Boss, these blue furs clearly want to harm us. If it's something even they can't beat, then they probably have some evil plans calling us to help. Small Ginseng said too, That's right, boss. These beasts might have bad intentions. But Yemo knew these star beasts weren't cunning. He thought for a moment, Let's go see. If things go bad, we can run. A few injured star beasts saw that Yemo was willing to help, so they joyfully went ahead to lead the way. A few injured star beasts saw that Yemo was willing to help, so they joyfully went ahead to lead the way. With their speed, they just used 15 minutes to get outside River Forest Valley. The inside was still filled with a bluish-gray mist. Even with spirit sense, one could only obscurely see some river flowing and empty tree branches. Other than this, there were a few hundred star beast bodies at the entrance to the valley. The bones were bitten and filled with holes. There were some shiny black ants attached on the bones. Clearly the star beasts were devoured by them. Yemo knew these ants. Before Yemo spoke, Small Ginseng and Shadowless called out in shock, metal-devouring bugs. Yemo nodded, That's right. Yemo had seen these once in the 7 refined tower of Yuan Le Heaven. At the time, he only saw around tens of thousands of them. They were from level 3 to level 5. With his power, he could only hide on the side while they flew over. Although Yemo hadn't seen just how many metal-devouring bugs there were here, but there were definitely more than tens of thousands, and they would be more than level 5. It was impossible for level 5 metal-devouring bugs to even make a mark on the star beasts. A few metal-devouring bugs noticed them and charged up. Yemo hacked out with Zisu, and there was the sound of hard metal clashing. Those metal-devouring bugs were hacked away, but they only wobbled a bit and were lightly injured. This is level 7 metal-devouring bugs. You guys go inside. Yemo immediately knew that these weren't things that Shadowless and Small Ginseng could take on. If there were only a few, it would be fine, but once there were too many, even Shadowless would have to await death. No wonder these star beasts would be devoured clean. If the level 7 metal-devouring bugs attacked together, even the most powerful star beast would have to die. Since it was metal-devouring bugs, Yemo wasn't too worried. They were fast, but he wasn't slow. If he was no match for them, he could run away. This time, the star beast didn't stop them going in the valley. When Yemo went in, he immediately spread out his spirit sense. He finally realized why these star beasts would be scared and gradually killed off. A tidal wave of metal-devouring bugs covered tens of 100m tall star beasts. Those below 100 meters were long dead. These 100m star beasts blocked the entrance of the valley clearly, so the metal-devouring bugs can't charge out of it. These star beasts were very powerful, but they couldn't do anything against the metal-devouring bugs. They could only rub or smash. That way, even if a small portion died, most of the metal-devouring bugs would still be fine. Yemo looked at a 110m star beast collapse due to metal-devouring bugs. That star beast only struggled a little and were even loped by the metal-devouring bugs. The metal-devouring bugs went in through the star beast's eyes and nose and soon devoured the star beast from the inside out. Yemo took in a cold breath. Even that 110m star beast only struggled a little, and most of these metal-devouring bugs were mostly level 6, some level 5, and little level 7. There were about tens of thousands of them. There were 2 that reached level 8. If such terrifying metal-devouring bugs went into the immortal realm, it would be a disaster. Even the grand heaven domain would be devoured by these terrifying metal-devouring bugs unless someone had the heaven flame 9 suns like him. Yemo didn't doubt people having god arts similar to the heaven flame 9 suns in the immortal realm. The immortal realm was boundless and there were countless masters. There would be large-scale massacre god arts. Seeing Yemo come in, a few taller star beasts whined and couldn't make any more sounds. Now that they called Yemo, it was clear that they asked for help. Before Yemo attacked, the metal-devouring bugs charged at Yemo like a tidal wave. At this moment, Yemo didn't dare to hold back. 5 blue golden suns rose up. Yemo used Heaven Flame 9 suns at full power immediately. He had 2 immortal flames now. The first was blue like morning sky, and second was South Abyssal Void Flame. Yemo used blue like morning sky straight up. Countless blue rays shot out sweeping over 1,000 km radius. Sizzling sounds came up everywhere. Everything that was burned by this flame would turn to dust. Yemo's condensed spirit sense and immortal essence made these metal-devouring bugs charging at him fall in the turn of an eye. The air that was filled with metal-devouring bugs loosened up. Those metal-devouring bugs that fell to the ground smoked in a moment and disappeared. The metal-devouring bugs was terrifying, but to them, the Heaven Flame 9 suns was more terrifying. Those metal-devouring bugs below level 7 couldn't resist at all, and the level 7 ones were shaky. Yemo called out Shadowless, and Shadowless swooped all those shaky metal-devouring bugs away. As Yemo charged into the valley, the metal-devouring bugs cracked like popcorn. When Yemo used Heaven Flame 9 suns, he only protected Shadowless but not those star beasts. Those surviving star beasts seemed more withered under the Heaven Flame 9 suns, but the metal-devouring bugs attached to them were completely burned. They couldn't care about the damage brought to them by Heaven Flame 9 suns. They were completely dazed. This neighbor had been with them for a decade, but it was their first time seeing he had such terrifying power. If Yemo used such sun on them, it was be extinction. These star beasts looked fearfully at Yemo, not daring to disrespect him at all. They didn't know that even if Yemo used Heaven Flame 9 suns, he wouldn't be able to annihilate them, much less Yemo didn't plan to annihilate them. Yemo's slaughter finally made the 2 level 8 metal-devouring bugs scream in horror. The remaining level 7 metal-devouring bugs gathered together and charged at Yemo with the 2 level 8 ones. Their wings were burned by Heaven Flame 9 suns and could only wobble in the air. It was perfect for Yemo that they gathered and charged at him together. The instant they came, Yemo punched out. 5-stack wave kill. A terrifying immortal flame smashed out, burning out ripples in the space. Some injured metal-devouring bugs died immediately. Some survived, but then the 2nd and 3rd wave came. Then the 4th and 5th wave came. Even the most powerful metal-devouring bug couldn't take Heaven Flame 9 suns and 5-stack wave kill. In that moment, all level 7 metal-devouring bugs were destroyed. The only 2 remaining level 8 metal-devouring bugs screamed and wanted to run. How could Yemo let them get away? Although he used lots of spirit sense and immortal essence, he could still use another 1 or 2 god art. As he released Zisu, Yemo waved out lightning sand. Rumbling sounded in the void. Countless lightning arcs fused together into a 30 kilometers long lightning spear. The two level 8 metal-devouring bugs wanted to run, but Yemo was waiting for them with tens of spirit sense blades on the side. One metal-devouring bug was hit by spirit sense blades and became wobbly. The other was hacked by Zisu and wanted to run. Theoretically, level 8 metal-devouring bugs was equivalent to Immortal Monarch, but their battle power relied on numbers. Individual metal-devouring bugs were far weaker than ordinary immortal spirit beast of their level. Rumble. The lightning spear pierced the two metal-devouring bugs. They just made an even sharper howl and was smashed away. Before Yemo said anything, Shadowless dashed over and swooped the two metal-devouring bugs into its mouth. Shadowless was busy devouring the metal-devouring bugs, but Yemo looked at these slanted rivers and was a little shocked. The colors were different, but the deeper in the valley, the darker the water. Shadowless was busy devouring the metal-devouring bugs, but Yemo looked at these slanted rivers and was a little shocked. The colors were different, but the deeper in the valley, the darker the water. Yemo scanned his spirit sense into the river water, but found his spirit sense had this hurting sensation. He quickly took back his spirit sense and walked to one of the rivers and felt his hand in. It was bone-piercing cold. Yemo almost felt his hands were being corroded by this liquid. Yemo quickly took out his hand, but found his hand to be fine and his skin seemed smoother. A powerful feeling surged up. This is a body refinement place. Shadowless stared at these rivers with light in his eyes. Yemo woke up. No wonder the star beasts were that powerful. They had such a body refinement place. And there seemed to be a type of power in this river. Would he be able to learn it? Thinking about this, Yemo rejoiced he couldn't cultivate in this place and could only kill. He was long sick of it. If he could body refinement, then it was still cultivation. He was immortal spirit body tertiary stage. If he reached immortal god body, even if it was just primary stage, his body would be on par with ordinary immortal emperor body. In that case, even if his power was a little weaker, he wouldn't fear ordinary immortal monarchs anymore. Yemo sped up to the second river and placed his hand in. A more painful scorching pain came up. Yemo knew that if he wanted to go in there for body refinement, he would have to use body refinement cultivation method. Yemo realized the deeper he went, the stronger effect these rivers had. Those tens of star beasts saw Yemo going around in the rivers but didn't dare to go up. Even those taller than 100 felt very threatened by Yemo. The metal-devouring bugs almost annihilated them all, but this newcomer easily wiped them out. It was clear who was the strongest. Yemo just went into a suitable river and said to Shadowless, "Go find a place for body refinement. If those star beasts comes up to annoy us, just eat them. If not, then don't provoke them. I don't want to eat those mosquitoes." Shadowless jumped excitedly into a river he had chosen in. Seeing the two go in, those star beasts breathed easy. There were many rivers here. If Yemo just used them for body refinement, it didn't damage anything and so was fine. After resting easy, those star beasts gathered up and crushed the remaining metal-devouring bugs. When things calmed down, those star beasts went into the river for body refinement, but they would choose a rather further place from Yemo and Shadowless. After experiencing the ravage of the 9-headed void devouring bug, the low heaven domain gradually calmed down. Not because the 9-headed void devouring bug didn't dare to devour immortal cities and sects, but more than 10 immortal emperors from the grand heaven domain came down together. They battled the 9-headed void devouring bug and the owner. Eventually no one could do anything to each other, so they came in agreement. That was the 9-headed void devouring bug wasn't allowed to ravage the immortal realm, and its master was allowed to set up his own sect in the grand heaven domain. Of course, they could only let it go for those immortal cities devoured. Immeasurable people died in this disaster. Even MOU immortal sect lost a few disciples. Now, it had been another decade since the 9-headed void devouring bug disaster and more than 3 decades since EMO disappeared. At Fondue Heaven, Jacques Immortal City Big Square, countless immortals gathered again. This time, there were a few thousand immortal kings and some immortal monarchs. Yin Jiutian, it's this guy again. A handsome man sneered outside the square. This gray-robed man also had a handsome face, and when he heard this, he just glanced at the blue-robed man and snorted with equal contempt, "A loser dares to be cocky." Then the gray-robed man left. "When Yemo comes, I want to see how you will be cocky in front of me." A white-robed, veiled female immortal walked over Marshal Brother Ding. "I suspect Yin Jiotian hid his power. Perhaps he isn't Immortal King primary stage at all. He's Immortal King tertiary stage." These two were Ding Jie and Zhang Tai. Because Yi Mo mentioned Yin Jiotian, and Ding Jie couldn't find a match, but he happened to find Yin Jiotian. Thus, the two fought without saying anything. Ding Jie was unparalleled in the Grand Heaven domain, but he couldn't beat Yin Jiotian. If he didn't have a few life-saving magic artifact, he would have been killed by Yin Jiotian. This time they came to Fandu Heaven because the Outer Realm Star Domain might be open. For this, almost all the Immortal Kings came. Of course, more Great Eternity Immortal wanted to go in, so they came too. Ding Jie nodded, but after a while he said, after coming back from the Star Domain, "I'm going to find Yemo." Yemo said he's going to Chaos Star Realm. I wonder if he went. Just when Zhang Tai wanted to answer, more than 10 figures landed on the high stage in the center of the square. Most immortals knew the leading person. It was one of the 4 Grand Emperors, Feng Kong Grand Emperor. Behind him was Wei Feng and Dragon River Grand Emperor. As soon as Feng Kong Grand Emperor came out, the immortals at the square fell silent. Feng Kong Grand Emperor nodded happily and said loudly, "There has been lots of things happening recently. Only a few decades ago, we found the small heaven domain allowing many great eternity immortal who have been stuck to reach Immortal King. And now in a short while, we found the entrance to another heaven domain. Of course, it might not be a star realm, but based on the chaos chi coming out of it, it's quite possibly the entrance to an outer realm star domain." The people below immediately became excited, especially some Immortal King peak stages and Great Eternity Immortal peak stages. Everyone knew that there were entrances to the Chaos Star Realm from Low, Middle, and Grand Heaven Domain, and going in from each entrance resulted in a different scene. But over countless years, people have never seen Outer Realm Sat Domain. If the Outer Realm Star Domain was 9 levels of the Chaos 36 domains, then this unexcavated star domain would have countless treasure. Feng Kong Grand Emperor waved his hand. "Everyone calm down. The Black Whirlpool might not lead to Chaos Star Realm. We only guess so. There's some laws inside. It would strongly reject Immortal Emperor or Immortal Monarch who have mastered a law. Thus, it only allows people who haven't mastered a law to go in." Hearing this, Yin Jiotian frowned. He didn't know if he could go in. His power returned to Immortal King tertiary stage, and his space law was getting complete, but because he wasn't at that cultivation state, his law wasn't mastered. He had to go in this if it was the Outer Realm Star Domain. It would be dripping in wealth. He didn't lack cultivation methods, but cultivation resources. Of course, if this isn't the entrance to the Star Domain, then there would be danger going in. As for what danger it is, you will be responsible for it yourself. Feng Kong Grand Emperor's tone went cold. How can we cultivators be scared of danger? If we fear danger all the time, we might as well hide at home. Feng Kong Grand Emperor said, and people immediately conformed. How can we cultivators be scared of danger? If we fear danger all the time, we might as well hide at home. Feng Kong Grand Emperor said, and people immediately conformed. Then, Feng Kong Grand Emperor threw out a huge crystal ball showing the entrance of the whirlpool. If Yemo was here, he would notice that this whirlpool was much larger than the one he entered in. It was extremely black but spun far slower than the one he went in. When the immortals saw the black whirlpool, Feng Kong Grand Emperor said again, at the same time, "I need to remind everyone that according to our calculations, this whirlpool would spin the opposite way only after 12 years. That's when everyone can come out, so before you go in, you need to think carefully." For most cultivators, 12 years was the blink of an eye. It was nothing. How to use these 12 years to find the most cultivation resources was the most important. But one thing I need to remind everyone is that if you don't come out after 12 years, this whirlpool will disappear. As for when it would next appear, no one knows. After going in the star realm, you must hand up all level 9 and above immortal spirit item, otherwise death. But those who hand them up will be rewarded heavily. Hearing this, everyone shivered. There was no way around this. But some smart people felt relaxed instead. If the Grand Emperors didn't want anything, then that would be strange. In a slanted river, Yemo was sitting inside. The river water formed ripples around him. Extremely little impurities were excreted out of his body. His body and power was still increasing. As time went on, the water rustled around him. Eventually, the water left the river and circulated around Yemo. Soon, Yemo was encompassed by the water and obscured. Rumble! A huge explosion sounded blasting away all the water around Yemo. Just when the water evaporated in the air, the river Yemo was dried up. At this moment, Yemo's long hair flowed down, the muscles on his body were perfect. The star beasts saw the explosion and didn't even dare to come near. They all moved away. Yemo gave himself a few dust removal spells and took out a clean set of clothes and flew into the air howling. After all these years of hard work, he had changed countless rivers, and today he finally reached immortal god body. Even in the immortal realm, immortal god body was very rare. Although theoretically, the immortal emperor body was on par with immortal god body, but its recovery and defensive capabilities were weaker than immortal god body. Reaching immortal god body meant that Yemo had the power to stand firm in the immortal realm. Even against an immortal emperor, he would have some chance of getting away. Plus, Yemo learned a new law in the river, and that was power law. In the ancient times, power law was the most basic and simple law in the immortal realm, but it was the hardest to reach the highest state. In all the ways of Tao vindication, vindication through power was the hardest. No one has ever succeeded. It was easy to learn power law, but hard to reach initial mastery. So as time went on, there were very little people in the immortal realm who went to learn power law. Eventually, power law disappeared. Until today, Yemo finally learned power law in this bluish-gray space. Even if he didn't vindicate Tao with power law was extremely important. Boss, you reached immortal god body. Shadowless ran over. Yemo waved his hand. I've begun looking into power law, and I reached immortal god body. There's no point in staying here. We can go and try find a way out. However, it was a pity that he couldn't take the river away. If he did, it would lose the body refinement power law. Otherwise, Yemo would at least take half the rivers here. Shadowless was long bored of this place and had quickly followed behind Yemo. All the star beasts quickly moved out of the way. On the way, Yemo was thinking about where those metal-devouring bugs came from. There definitely was none here before, but then suddenly so many appeared. What is this place? A few hundred immortals appeared in this bluish-gray area. Then, a few hundred more appeared. Soon, there were more than 10,000 people here. This doesn't seem to be the outer realm entrance to Chaos Star Realm. Not necessarily. When you first enter the Chaos Star Realm, it's bluish-gray too, like here. Yes, but this place is barren. There's nothing. And this immortal king didn't finish, but everyone knew there's almost no immortal spirit chi here. It would be strange if there were immortal spirit items here. Most people guess that this might really not be the entrance to Chaos Star Realm, but an independent dimension. As for what dangers there were, no one wanted to try first. Look, what are those immortal spirit beasts? One Great Eternity Immortal Peak Stage pointed at 2 star beasts and said in shock, "What level immortal spirit beast are they?" "Can't tell. They're covered in blue fur. They seem very strong." I'll have a look. One Great Eternity Immortal Tertiary Stage flew out of the crowd and neared the 2 star beasts. The 2 other Git also followed carefully. Seeing this Great Eternity Immortal get close, the 2 star beasts immediately ran. They had the subconscious feeling that those people who came were like Yemo. Seeing this, the Great Eternity Immortal immediately released his magic artifact. These immortal spirit beasts are very scared. They're probably not strong. I'll kill one first. Then, the Great Eternity Immortal attacked with his magic artifact. His magic artifact struck the star beast head-on, but the star beast wasn't injured at all. Seeing he was attacked, The star beast roared and slapped with his palm. Splurge! This great eternity immortal was smashed to pulp. Immortal spirit beast was too absurd. A great eternity immortal attacked with magic artifact, but didn't do any damage and was instead slapped to death. Immortal spirit beast was too absurd. A great eternity immortal attacked with magic artifact, but didn't do any damage and was instead slapped to death. The other two great eternity immortals saw this and quickly ran. This star beast saw that although these people looked like EMO but was far weaker, they stopped running. They charged back and slapped down too. These two great eternity immortal couldn't even break free from the force binding of the star beast and was instantly slapped to death. Then the two star beasts charged into the crowd. Finally, someone in the crowd recognized and yelled out, "This is Star Beast. Their hide is extremely thick. Ordinary magic artifact can't damage them at all. They live on the border realms. They don't cultivate immortal essence nor spirit sense, but they have extremely strong power." Rumble. The palm of a star beast clashed with an immortal king's magic artifact. This time, the lower than 30 star beast was smacked away. But even so, the star beast wasn't injured at all. But the two realized that there were people who could beat them here, so they retreated and disappeared. Luckily they left. This thing is too scary. Those below Immortal King would meet certain death. One great eternity immortal said with fear. The Immortal King who struck the star beast away said heavily, "You don't understand star beasts at all. They appear in packs. They would be overwhelming. There might just be two here, but there would be countless times more than us coming." And this Immortal King changed to a more serious tone. "I heard that there are star beasts larger than 30 If we encounter these, it would be extremely hard for us to even run. But I heard that star beasts are usually very violent and would never retreat. It's very strange that these two retreated." Hearing this, the immortals fell silent. If that was the case, then they wouldn't be thinking about how many immortal spirit herb to collect in these 12 years, but how would they survive? Now, pretty much everyone had been teleported in. With discussion, most people started to think about a way out. First, there were star beasts everywhere. Second, this wasn't Chaos Star Realm. "We need to leave here quickly and find a safe place first." Someone suggested. "Leave? In the habitat of star beasts? There are star beasts everywhere. We're very lucky that there was just two here." One Immortal King said in contempt. As soon as he said this, he saw a few thousand star beasts charge over. With this, everyone tensed their minds. "Don't worry. Form teams and attack with magic artifact. Attack one together. We have lots of people. All the Immortal Kings extend out your Immortal King domains to stop these star beasts." One Immortal Monarch primary stage immediately yelled. The strongest person here was only Immortal Monarch primary stage, and ones who could come and didn't achieve great mastery in law. With this, people started to form teams. There were about 20,000 people here, and 5 Immortal Monarchs. There were 2,000 Immortal Kings, and the rest were great eternity immortals. The 20,000 people clashed with a few thousand star beasts. Magic artifact ravaged. Immortal essence burst everywhere. There were great eternity immortals and Immortal Kings being slapped to death non-stop, but there were also star beasts being killed. Although star beasts were powerful, most of the star beasts that came didn't exceed 30 meters. Their weakness was obvious. These immortals soon found the weak spots of star beasts after some battle. As everyone spread out this experience, the even battlefield skewed towards the immortals. As more and more star beasts died, they finally couldn't resist retreating. Soon, the rest of the star beasts were gone, leaving behind a ravaged land and a stack of bodies. This battle was short, but a few hundred immortals died. Meanwhile, only a few hundred star beasts died, and this was because star beasts over 30 didn't come. Otherwise, at least half the immortals here would die. These things are so powerful. There's so many of us, and we only barely won. It seems we can't wander off alone. We must act together. One Immortal King panted. "I don't think it's so simple." The leading Immortal Monarch frowned. "A few thousand star beasts isn't a lot at the border realm. It's little. The most important thing is that there isn't star beasts beyond 30 m. According to what I know, there's not only 30 m tall star beasts, but also some 100 m tall star beasts. If it's one of these, even I would have to run, and I might not even get away. Hearing this, the scene fell silent again. If not even an immortal monarch can get away, the rest of the people's fate was clear. Some essence spirits who have lost their bodies floated helpless in the air, not knowing where to go. Immortal monarch master, what do we do now? One immortal king broke the silence and asked what everyone wanted to ask. Do you guys have a better idea? That immortal monarch couldn't think of a better idea. Another immortal monarch said, the only way is to build an immortal city here. We don't need to build a huge one. We just needed to block these star beasts. We can use their beast cores to concoct top-level body refinement pills. We can hunt star beasts as we find a way out. If we can't cultivate, we'll use these beast cores for body refinement. That probably won't work. Powerful star beasts are taller than 30 m. No matter how sturdy the immortal city wall is, it probably won't stop them. Another immortal monarch said. The immortal monarch who suggested this said again, of course we can't just rely on the immortal city, but star beasts have a weakness, and that is they don't cultivate essence spirit and spirit sense. They just rely on more power. If we set up large amounts of illusion formation and stealth formation, or even transmission formation, we'd pretty much be fine. Almost everyone agreed to this suggestion. With hope comes motivation. These immortals immediately began building a city. With 20,000 people building a city, and the weakest being great eternity immortals, this immortal city was built with extreme speed. Of course, the city walls weren't built with the best materials, but the formations were set up with good materials. Yimo was searching for a way out. Yimo saw a star beast move away, but he stopped. He found that many star beasts were wounded. They seemed like magic artifact wounds. Did people come here? Or was it Kaimi? Thinking about this, Yimo immediately came up to an injured star beast and grabbed it. All the star beasts here knew Yimo and Shadowless. Seeing Yimo grab him, he didn't dare to move at all. Yimo checked the wounds carefully. It was indeed caused by magic artifact. It really did seem that foreigners have come. This isn't the work of Kaimi. They were injured by different magic artifacts. I'll go have a look. Yimo left the star beasts behind. Soon, Yimo saw an immortal city being built, and there were all sorts of formation outside. There really were people here. Yimo didn't know where they came from, and was about to go look. Boss, it's Kaimi, that old bastard. Shadowless called out. At the same time, Yimo found Kaimi too. Without hesitation, he charged at Kaimi. Kaimi also looked at Yimo immediately. He had been hiding in here for a few decades, and found that many people have suddenly arrived. Without hesitation, Kaimi started to run. He wasn't scared of Yimo. He was certain Yimo would chase up. He thought the same as Yimo, to kill him at a place where there was no one. Yimo and Kaimi came and went quickly. Those people building the immortal city didn't notice them at all. Yimo and Kaimi came and went quickly. Those people building the immortal city didn't notice them at all. Yimo only chased for 5 minutes and knew that Kaimi's cultivation level was much stronger than before. And these star beasts feared him, but Kaimi as well, as they didn't stop Kaimi either. At the same time, Yimo felt that Kaimi wasn't really trying to escape from him, but was instead trying to draw him somewhere. Kaimi wasn't even scared of him, realizing this, meaning that Kaimi already knew he wouldn't let him go. Shadowless, this old bastard is trying to lead us somewhere. When I fight with him later, you stay on the side and find an opportunity to ambush him. Yimo sound transmissioned to Shadowless. Shadowless immediately nodded. He loved ambushing people, but when he reached Heaven Tao, his body changed and couldn't ambush people with the size of a pea. The immortal city built here was called Star Defense Immortal City. This immortal city was built very fast, but the formations were set up slowly. However, with tens of immortal formation masters and great masters, the city defense formation was finally set up. It was made up of a few level 6 immortal formations. But in here, star beasts might not even be able to break a level 4 immortal formation unless it's those star beasts that mastered the power law and all came to attack, but that was impossible. Those star beasts who mastered power law would be at least 100 or higher. These star beasts rarely came out. They are pretty much all at River Forest Valley to protect the body refinement area. There were hundreds of millions of star beasts in this bluish-gray area, but there weren't many star beasts who could reach 100 and above. It not only required talent, but also fortune. The immortals in the city immediately felt they had nothing to do after the star beasts stopped attacking. It was hard to cultivate here, and they couldn't go out easily. Helplessly, most immortals could only choose to body refinement. Soon, many people found that the body refinement pills made with star beast cores were extremely effective. There was even a sliver of chaos wave inside, making people understand more about their god art and cultivation method. Realizing this, two things became precious. One was body refinement cultivation method, the other was star pills. They were pills made from star beast core. No matter where it was, as long as there was incentive, there would be those fighting for it. Many people started forming teams and left the city to hunt for star pills. Some people came back loaded, some could never come back again, but more and more people went outside the city. Yin Jiutian also went out, but he didn't go for the star beasts. Since there was chaos chi here, he only needed to find the source of it, and he would be able to find something precious. This can be the place of your burial. Kami suddenly stopped and stared coldly at Emo. At the same time, he reached out a huge hand and grabbed at Emo. As soon as his hand reached out, the fingers turned into 5 boundless mountains and smashed from above Emo. 5 extremely insha-killing intent locked the nearby space. It was as though the sky was falling. Emo was chasing Kaimi, but he was on alert. Seeing this, he smashed out the world rock without hesitation. A powerful immortal essence backlash came. Emo felt his chest go heavy, and he was shocked. His power was many times stronger than when he came in here, but this Kaimi improved at a faster speed than him. He had the upper hand on the first attack. It had only been a few decades, and Kaimi surpassed him. If this guy had more time, how could he be a match? Kaimi was surprised that the world rock stopped his Insha Heaven Claw. His Insha Heaven Claw dominated in this dimension. Even the sturdy body of the star beast couldn't take his Insha Heaven Claw, much less Yemo's mountain magic artifact. But the magic artifact stopped it. Blood River 9 falls. Kaimi roared and waved his hand. The blood spear was released, and at the same time, 9 blood rivers fell from the sky. There was less quantity of the river, but the power was many times stronger. The dense, bloody smell with its shocking, killing intent instantly loomed over the space. The invisible lethal force squeezed the nearby void, cracking. Emo knew that even if he called Shadowless out, Shadowless would be able to devour this blood river. None of his god art would be able to stop this blood river. Seeing Emo, who was illuminated red by the river, Kaimi snarled, "I want to see how you're going to keep acting cocky. You dare to hunt me for a few decades. Letting you die is too simple." As Kaimi spoke, the blood spear made a petrifying sound and charged at Emo with even more ferocity. Emo suddenly reached out his arms and howled, "Void!" Then he punched out 9 consecutive punches. Yemo's face went pale. If he wasn't a mortal god body, just using Void 9 times would cripple his body. Against this powerful Blood River 9 falls, there was no other way for Emo other than Void. "You're asking to die." Kaimi sneered, seeing Emo dare to punch his Blood River. No one knew the Blood River better than him. It would corrode everything. Plus, he fused the Insha he found in the space inside. The endless lethal force in the void suddenly split apart. Some were swept away by the Blood River. Some formed a lethal force whirlpool and smashed with the Blood River. Rumble, rumble, rumble. In the clash, the nearby space and domain were shattered. Blood splashed, and immortal essence dispersed. Yemo's face went pale. There was a sliver of blood on his lips. He knew Kaimi was far stronger than he expected. He was heavily injured. "This is impossible." Kaimi looked at the shattered Blood River in disbelief. It was impossible for an immortal king to punch his Blood River. Unless Emo was at least a mortal god body. Before Kai Mi could say that Yemo was a mortal god body, a shadow dashed towards him. Before Kai Mi could say that Yemo was a mortal god body, a shadow dashed towards him. It was that guy again. Kai Mi recognized Shadowless as soon as he came out. He hated Shadowless just as much as he hated Yemo. It was Shadowless who forced him to this world. But Shadowless was too fast. Just when he reacted, Shadowless bit over with its big mouth. Kai Mi heavily injured Yemo, but he paid a price for it too. In that blink of an eye, Shadowless actually ate Kai Mi. Idiot, spit him out quickly, Yemo said desperately. Kai Mi was a divine emperor. Although his immortal essence was damaged, his essence spirit was still very powerful. Unless Shadowless was immortal Tao, it would be suicide to eat Kai Mi. Shadowless felt something wrong after he ate Kai Mi and spat Kai Mi out immediately. It was only a blink of an eye, but Shadowless was also heavily injured. However, Kai Mi also seemed withered. He was covered in Shadowless's stomach acid, and his immortal essence was chaotic. Yemo released Zisu before Kai Mi could attack. Crevice. The endless space and the nearby void was all gathered here, gradually squeezing into a sword ray. This sword ray fell down along Kai Mi's brows. Kai Mi had long seen the power of this strike. Kai Mi smashed out the blood spear. Crack! The nearby space was ravaged again like a volcanic eruption. The ground turned to oblivion. Huge rings appeared between Yemo and Kai Mi. The earth shattered and stretched out into tens of miles. Kai Mi was hacked tens of km away by this strike, and a gash appeared between his brows with blood dripping down. Yemo didn't retreat much, but he sighed. His immortal essence and spirit sense was extremely deprived due to using Void 9 times. He only released the look of crevice, but the actual force of it. Otherwise, Kai Mi would be heavily injured from that strike. Kai Mi seemed to be hacked away that long, but most of it was intentional. As soon as Kai Mi stopped, the gash had recovered and the blood spears swirled in the void again. Yemo's face was cold. He didn't know if Kai Mi could use Blood River 9 Falls again, but if Kai Mi did, he wouldn't be able to use 9 voids again. But he believed Kai Mi wasn't that strong. You indeed have some fortune. You actually reached a mortal god body here. Kai Mi didn't attack Yemo again, and instead said coldly. Seeing Yemo not talk, he said again, but no matter what, don't think of escaping from me today. Then the blood spear turned into blood shadows in the void. Blood River. Yemo's heart sunk. He didn't expect Kai Mi to really be able to use Blood River 9 Falls again. If Kai Mi used it again, he wouldn't be able to escape at all. His only opportunity would be now, but Yemo didn't want to do that. He suspected that Kai Mi was bluffing. Kai Mi was at most Immortal King middle stage now, or maybe tertiary stage. How could an Immortal King tertiary stage use a god art like Blood River 9 Falls twice? Yemo clutched Zisu tightly and stared coldly at Kai Mi. He didn't believe Kai Mi could use it another time. If Kai Mi really could, then he would run immediately. The 3 big blood rivers hung in the air, but didn't fall. Yemo breathed easy. Kai Mi could only use 3 rivers. But Yemo didn't attack Kai Mi. Kai Mi didn't attack him either. Clearly both of them felt someone was coming over. Yemo recognized it was Yin Zhuotian. I can encounter you everywhere. Yin Zhuotian sneered and released his mist line without hesitation. The region it dominated was no smaller than the Blood River. Yin Wudao, you should join up with me to kill this Kai Mi. He came to rob my time formation disk. If you kill me, you would be no match for him. He's a divine emperor. Yemo said. Kai Mi? You're Kai Mi divine emperor? Yin Zhuotian wasn't clueless like Yemo and immediately called out in shock. Kai Mi said coldly, it seems I still have some fame left. I thought after all these years, even some cats and dogs don't take me seriously. Then Kai Mi looked at Yemo with contempt. In his eyes, Yemo was an insect. In order to increase his power these years, he forced it and it wasn't beneficial for him, fusing with the body. However, he fought a big battle before fighting Yemo, making him unable to use Blood River 9 Falls twice. Otherwise, Yemo was dead for sure. Yemo's heart wasn't calm at all. Now that Yin Zhuotian confirmed Kai Mi was divine emperor, it was clear that Kai Mi was an essence spirit body due to fighting Truth divine emperor. Truth Divine Emperor was able to kill that many people while being ganged up on. Just how strong was he? He only knew Truth Divine Emperor was very strong before, but after seeing Kai Mi, he realized just to what extent Truth Divine Emperor was powerful. Kai Mi was about the same cultivation level as him, but wasn't scared of him at all. That Truth Divine Emperor killed a few of the Divine Emperors joined up with Kai Mi. Just how scary Truth Divine Emperor was. Yin Jiutian's mist line already attacked towards Yimo. Yimo knew things couldn't end well today. If it was just Kai Mi, Yimo would be confident in killing him, but now with Yin Jiutian, Yimo decided to leave first. As soon as Yin Jiutian's Immortal King domain reached out, Yimo's Immortal King domain and Spirit Sense blades hacked out. There was an indistinguishable crack, and Yimo's figure disappeared. Yin Jiutian's mist net clearly attacked at Yimo, but when it fell, it instantly fell towards Kai Mi. This wasn't the first time he fought Yimo. He knew that even if he attacked with full power, he wouldn't be able to kill Yimo nor keep him. But he knew this Kai Mi well. He was an ancient divine emperor and now possessed another body, and knew Yimo had time formation disc. He had to kill one today. He couldn't kill the cunning Yimo, but he could try to ambush this Kai Mi. Even just the secrets of a divine emperor was enough for him to attack. Rumble, rumble, rumble. As the three blood rivers fell, Yin Jiutian's mist net clashed with it. Yin Jiutian's mist net was instantly bound by the blood rivers. Kai Mi thought the same as Yin Jiutian. He knew Yimo just as well. Although he was contemptuous at Yimo, he knew Yimo's capabilities clearly. Now that Yin Jiutian knew about the time formation disc too, and he seemed to have quite a lot of good things, killing Yin Jiutian first was the same for Kai Mi. It was because the two had the exact same idea that their magic artifacts clashed. Just with that clash, Kai Mi realized that this Yin Jiutian was not much weaker than Yimo. He definitely couldn't kill Yin Jiutian in his current state. Realizing this, Kai Mi didn't want to fight at all. The blood spear twisted and the blood rivers exploded. Meanwhile, Kai Mi's figure dimmed instantly. Yin Jiutian's mist net instantly turned into a fine mist spear and pierced that dimming figure, drawing out blood. After leaving that blood, Kai Mi disappeared like Yimo. Seeing this, Yin Jiutian felt regretful. If Kai Mi left a second later, he would have been able to keep him. Seeing this, Yin Jiutian felt regretful. If Kai Mi left a second later, he would have been able to keep him. Yimo and Kai Mi left. The few hundred star beasts surrounded over immediately. They were scared of Yimo and Kai Mi, but not this newly arrived Yin Jiutian. Yin Jiutian was very annoyed that he got nothing out of this, and now that these star beasts surrounded him, he didn't hold back. His mist lines turned into countless mist rays that accurately pierced these star beasts. These powerful star beasts were defenseless against the mist rays. They were slaughtered, and soon, the remaining star beasts fled. They were different from when Yimo just came in. When Yimo first came in, no matter how many died, they would keep attacking Yimo. But now, they are scared. Seeing someone could instantly kill them, they grew smart and immediately retreated. Even if Yimo saw Yin Jiutian here, he would compliment him. Yin Jiutian knew the weak spots of star beasts very well. These mist rays struck the weak spots of the star beasts immediately. At the same time, Yimo instant transmissioned into the star beast crowds. However, the star beasts immediately recognized Yimo and moved away. "Boss, what do we do now? Should we follow one of them?" Shadowless had recovered from his injuries and asked. "My cultivation level is a little stronger than Kai Mi, but I can't kill him for certain." Kai Mi, that old bastard, grew strong this quickly. If he could use his blood river 9 falls consecutively, even if I can get away, I would lose a layer of skin. Yimo shook his head. Shadowless suddenly said, "Boss, although I devoured Kai Mi only for a short time, I felt that this guy's immortal essence was used before. He was even lightly injured. I'm certain it's not due to the fight with us. Perhaps he fought with someone before." "Are you certain?" Yimo's face went serious again. "It's true." Shadowless nodded affirmatively. If Shadowless was right, then his cultivation level wasn't a little stronger than Kai Mi, but much weaker. This meant that if Kaimi encountered him before the fight, Kaimi would be able to use Blood River 9 Falls twice. With that, he might even die. Boss, I feel that Kaimi grew stronger this fast must be because he found something better than those body refinement rivers. Shadowless guessed. Yemo knew that Kaimi found a huge fortune in here. That old bastard is experienced. Perhaps he already knew there were good things in here, so he went for that straight away. Only we were dumb enough to fight with our lives. Shadowless ranted unhappily. Shadowless's words struck Yemo. Kaimi was once a divine emperor. His experience must be bountiful. But so was Yin Jiutian. He was a half-divine emperor. Yin Jiutian left that immortal city probably to come find resources here. Thinking about this, Yemo immediately called out Small Ginseng and told him his idea. Small Ginseng quickly patted his chest and said, "Boss, don't worry. We'll follow him. If I sense any immortal spirit item chi, we can find it ourselves." "Okay, let's do this," Yemo immediately said. With Small Ginseng's help, Yemo soon found Yin Jiutian's tracks. Yemo didn't need to use his spirit sense to lock onto Yin Jiutian to follow him. Small Ginseng would remind him. But even so, after 3 days, Yin Jiutian noticed something wasn't right. He even stopped and used his spirit sense to search around. However, in this bluish-gray space, his spirit sense really couldn't search much. On the 4th day, Small Ginseng immediately told Yemo, "Boss, I felt an extremely dense chaos chi. Even without that yin, we can find it." "Okay." Yemo instantly sped up and charged at Yemo. Yemo knew that under such circumstances, it was impossible to ambush Yin Jiutian. As soon as Yemo appeared, Yin Jiutian saw it and waved out his mist line. Tens of thousands of mist arrows shot and crushed the void, squeezing all the nearby space. Yemo didn't release Zisu at all, but instead punched out 9 times. 9 voids, 9 space lethal force whirlpool instantly formed. When Yemo completely released these 9 punches, the 9 void drags released a huge rumbling sound. Crack! Yin Jiutian's mist arrows were swept into the whirlpools and made explosions. After tearing some mist arrows, the 9 whirlpools gradually gathered together, creating an even louder rumbling sound. A terrifying huge whirlpool formed between Yemo and Yin Jiutian. Seeing this, Yin Jiutian's face changed immediately. He immediately took away his mist line and disappeared. Yemo didn't chase Yin Jiutian. He knew that he might not be able to catch up to Yin Jiutian. Yemo's face was pale, but he was very excited. Ever since knowing that Kaimi could use Blood River 9 Falls, Yemo had constantly been thinking about how to counter that move. Compared to Yin Jiutian, Yemo wanted to kill Kaimi more. So during these few days, he had been thinking about how to fuse his 9 voids together into a new fist god art. Using this battle with Yin Jiutian, he finally created the form of his new god art. Yin Jiutian was very cunning. He knew that Yemo was testing a new god art on him. If he kept fighting Yemo, it would be helping Yemo and he might get injured. How could Yin Jiutian do such a dumb thing? So after noticing this, he left immediately. Yemo was still in the enlightenment of the new fist god art and couldn't care about Yin Jiutian leaving. After the 9 voids fused together, it completely annihilated this region of space. Rumbling sounds went on non-stop. The nearby space rattled. Yemo knew that this punch really devoured space and used space law into it. There was a fundamental difference between this and Void. Void couldn't stop Blood River 9 Falls, but this punch could stop it. If he could use it more than once, he could even ambush Kaimi and tear him to pieces after blocking 1 Blood River 9 Falls. Thud! Yemo put away the fist force, and the whirlpool in the void exploded and soon dissipating. Boss, such a powerful punch. Shadowless immediately came to suck up. Yemo's face was a bit pale and shook his head. "This punch is indeed much stronger than the 9 voids I use fighting Kaimi, but I can only barely use this punch once. If I can't use 2, I would be no match for Kaimi." "Boss, what this punch called?" Shadowless and Small Ginseng looked expectantly at Yemo. "Boss, what this punch called?" Shadowless and small ginseng looked expectantly at Yemo. Yemo thought for a moment and said, "Space shatter." He had crevice and now space shatter. It sounded very good. Small ginseng, lead the way. We'll go look for good things. When boss has mastered space shatter, we'll go find that old Kaimi bastard. If I don't eat this guy, I don't feel satisfied. Shadowless waved his hand. Small ginseng was unhappy being ordered, but he couldn't argue and led the way. Half a day later, the three came to a place where the blue color was deeper than other places. But coming here, Yemo immediately felt a sliver of chaos chi. This chi was similar to the chaos chi in his golden page world, but not completely the same. Coming in here, Yemo's spirit sense was unrestricted. This was a dried-up swamp. At the end of the swamp, there were 3 big nest-like things. Because the swamp was dry, this place looked barren and wilder. The swamp was lifeless, but due to these 3 big nests, there was a slive of life here. "Boss, this is Chaos Nest," Small Ginseng immediately said. "What is Chaos Nest?" Yemo asked in confusion. Small Ginseng pointed at the 3 nests and said, "Chaos nests are brought over when a realm is born. It usually has a sliver of law chi. The blue-grayish dimension here is filled with power law, so these chaos nests must have power law chi, power law." Yemo immediately came up to the chaos nest and grabbed. A faint primal law feeling rose up into his head. Yemo only had the time to say to Small Ginseng and Shadowless, "Take one each. I'm going to cultivate now." Shadowless, keep an eye on Yin Jiotian. Shadowless was waiting for this. Yemo immediately started learning the power law, while Shadowless moved a chaos net into the golden page world. Small Ginseng saw this and did the same. However, Small Ginseng looked strangely at Shadowless and asked him, "Why didn't you open your mouth this time? That's strange." Shadowless smiled. "I feel this chaos net is definitely enough for me to reach Immortal Tao. As long as I reach Immortal Tao, I can eat that Kaimi old bastard in one mouth. His blood river would be nothing. However, I would have to wait till boss is done. Otherwise, can your little arm stop Yin Jiotian?" Hearing this, Small Ginseng could only shut up. Yemo was completely immersed in learning power law. This chaos net not only refined his immortal essence and spirit sense, but also allowed him to understand his god art and power law more. He kept using space shatter through the chaos net, and there was no longer a place to stay around him. Small Ginseng and Shadowless could only keep retreating to free up space for Yemo to practice. Rumbling sounds went non-stop. Terrifying immortal essence chi swept out instantly, creating a huge ravine in this canopy. The power law and chaos chi of the chaos net were constantly being stripped away by Yemo. Meanwhile, the height of the chaos net kept dropping, but Yemo's space shatter was more and more refined. Time passed rapidly, while Shadowless and Small Ginseng could only go around this boring space. When Yin Jiotian found this blue region, he immediately knew Yemo went inside first. He cursed. He knew his cultivation level was a bit higher than Yemo, but his battle power was weaker than Yemo. He felt very annoyed. He was a half-divine and begun cultivation again, but he wasn't as strong as an ordinary guy. He could only attribute that to the time formation disc. If Yemo didn't have the time formation disc, he would definitely be no match for him. Rumble, with 3 rumbling sounds that was like planets smashing down. In the distance, Small Ginseng and Shadowless looked at the crevices appearing in front of Yemo with mouths wide open in shock. They knew that this was Yemo's fist tearing the void, creating the tear. Although this tear disappeared in an instant and was far from tearing opening the void, Yemo was only an immortal king. This terrifying power was unimaginable. The ground near Yemo was instantly torn by these 3 fists. The ground seemed to have rolled backwards. But after the 3 punches finished, Yemo waved his hand, and the flying ground fell back down. Crack! The huge chaos net behind Yemo turned to dust and disappeared. Sigh. Yemo let out a long breath. This chaos net was indeed a good thing. He used one, and not only did he perfect his god art, but he could use 3 space shatters in a row. Even after that, his immortal essence and spirit sense wasn't that deprived. Before, he thought that if he could use 2 shatters, he wouldn't be scared of the Blood River 9 Falls being used twice. But now that he can use 3, Kaimi would be dead for sure. Yemo saw the line like tears in the space. He knew that with the toughness of space here, even a mortal emperor wouldn't be able to tear it open. Just because he created lines, it didn't mean he could tear it open. It was just a burst of him perfecting his god art and the chaos net. If he used that move again, he might not be able to create space tears. However, he was very happy. He was only an immortal king middle stage after all. Boss so strong. Shadowless and Small Ginseng came over and congratulated immediately. I still have a chaos tree. Should I take it out for Boss to cultivate? Small Ginseng immediately said. Seeing this, Shadowless was a little reluctant, but could only say, Boss, I have one too. Yemo waved his hand. I only need one. I've learned the power law. Even if I get more, I wouldn't progress much. Plus my god art is perfected. I don't need to waste these things. Then, Yemo looked at Shadowless and said, Shadowless, can that chaos net let you reach Immortal Tau? If it can't, then save it. Don't waste it. Shadowless quickly flapped his wings and said, Boss, don't worry. After eating this chaos net, I can definitely reach Immortal Tau. I promise. Then, Shadowless charged into the Golden Page world. He was scared of Golden Page world causing trouble, so he immediately went in and ate the chaos net before sitting beside the bitter bamboo. How long have I been cultivating here for? Yemo asked Small Ginseng. It's been 4 months. Small Ginseng quickly said. Yemo frowned and said, Go into the Golden Page world first. I need to go to that immortal city. If Kaimi, this old bastard, gets away, it would be no good. Yemo didn't know that not long after he left, the space where he was started to crack. Outside the whirlpool, the immortal emperors and immortal monarchs looked at it in shock. The 20,000 people had gone in for a few months, but the entrance slowly calmed down instead of disappearing. Brother Feng Kong, I feel the law suppression seems to be disappearing. Perhaps the other people who have control of the law can enter too. Blood River Grand Emperor said. I noticed it too. Wei Feng Grand Emperor and a few other immortal emperors said. The immortal emperors glanced at each other and nodded before charging inside without hesitation. The remaining immortal monarchs saw this and all went in. Only a few people remained outside. I killed your people, so what? That Ding Jie guy stay here, the rest of you piss off. Yan Jiutian stared coldly at more than 10 immortal king and yelled. Below his feet were 2 corpses. Ding Jie's face was very bad. He just fought Yan Jiutian a few years ago, but in such a short time, he was completely outmatched. Yan Jiutian, how arrogant you are. You dare to insult Madman Ding. I'm going to kill you first. Yemo's voice sounded. Hearing this, Ding Jie laughed. Yemo, I knew that in such a busy place you would be here. Huh? Hearing this voice, Yan Jiutian's face went really bad. He didn't need to look to know Yemo was here. Yemo took the thing he wanted, and clearly his power increased a lot. He was no match for him before. Now was even worse. Hearing this voice, Yan Jiutian's face went really bad. He didn't need to look to know Yemo was here. Yemo took the thing he wanted, and clearly his power increased a lot. He was no match for him before. Now was even worse. Other than Ding Jie, the rest of the people looked at Yemo in shock. Although Yan Jiutian came in here with them, no one expected him to be this powerful. They were trapped by countless star beasts before, but when Yan Jiutian came, he just used a few simple god arts and those star beasts ran away. 2 immortal kings were killed on the spot, just for being slightly rude to Yan Jiutian. No one dared to say no when Yan Jiutian said Ding Jie had to stay. Who was this person who just came? He spoke to Yan Jiutian in such tone, but Yan Jiutian wasn't angry. Everyone looked at Yemo. In fact, Yemo just carried a simple sword on his back. This sword had a sheath too. He didn't look like an immortal king at all, more like a mortal from the lower realms. Yemo, I was wanting to go find you after leaving here. I didn't expect you were here too. This is great. You don't know how cocky this guy is. I really can't beat him now. Ding Jie said. Yemo patted his shoulder and said, "This guy is Immortal King Tertiary Stage. He hid his power. You can't beat him now, but that doesn't mean you can't beat him when you're Immortal King Tertiary Stage." Hearing this, Yin Jiutian was shocked. He didn't expect Yi-Mo to be able to see through him hiding his power. Meanwhile, he couldn't see what Yi-Mo's power level was. This guy is too shameless. Yi-Mo, teach him a lesson. I'll cheer you on. Ding Jie rolled up his sleeves and said. Yi-Mo knew that Yin Jiutian was good at running, and it was completely impossible to kill him, but he didn't feel good without teaching Yin Jiutian a lesson. Just when Yi-Mo was about to release Zisu, Yin Jiutian suddenly sound transmission, "Yi-Mo, I'm no match for you, I admit, but it's impossible for you to kill me. If you want to fight, then I can fight with you, but when Kaimi comes, I will join up with him. Can you beat the two of us?" Yi-Mo frowned. He knew what Yin Jiutian said was true. Yin Jiutian's escape abilities were much stronger than him. Seeing this, Yin Jiutian said again, "Yi-Mo, I know you have an immortal sect, but I never cause trouble there. If you have the balls, we'll fight when we're both Immortal Emperor. Normally, you can't kill me, nor can I kill you. No matter how we fight, it would be a waste of immortal essence. Plus, you know that I would definitely do it personally if I was to kill you. I wouldn't spill your secret like an idiot. I believe you think the same." Yin Jiutian wasn't that noble, of course. He didn't go to Low Heaven Domain because he didn't have time. Plus, he didn't even consider MOU, Immortal Sect, a threat. Plus, Yin Jiutian believed that if he reached Immortal Emperor, then no matter how insane Yi-Mo was, he could kill Yi-Mo. He had a few powerful god arts that could only be cultivated in Immortal Emperor state. If it was outside, then Yin Jiutian would say this, but this bluish-gray dimension was small, and the star beasts here seemed to be able to communicate. It wouldn't be hard for Yi-Mo to find him. Yi-Mo didn't really care waiting till Immortal Emperor to fight Yin Jiutian. He knew that since Yin Jiutian said this, he was relying on something, but even so, Yi-Mo wasn't scared. "Yi-Mo, just teach this Yin bastard a lesson. I'll stop this guy. We can't let this guy get away." Ding Jie laughed. Yi-Mo waved his hand and said to Yin Jiutian, "Piss off. I don't want to kill you now." Yin Jiutian's face was green, but he could only go and soon disappeared. "Yi-Mo, why not kill him?" Ding Jie looked at Yi-Mo with confusion. "Because someone I want to kill more has come." Then Yi-Mo stared at an empty space ahead. Soon, a gray-robed person appeared. It was clearly Kaimi. Yi-Mo felt this guy seemed even more stronger than a few months ago. This time, Kaimi didn't draw Yi-Mo away and just said coldly, "I knew you would take those chaos nests, you idiot. Die." Then, Kaimi released Blood Spear and Blood River 9 Falls. The violent and foul stench spread out. The terrifying Immortal King domain spread out like crazy. Ding Jie and the other Immortal Kings could only retreat and instantly left where Yi-Mo and Kaimi were. The space rattled heavily with the release of the Blood Spear. Yi-Mo felt it was okay, but the nearby Immortal Kings looked at the void in shock. This power was like the sky falling. Was this even a battle between Immortal King? Even a battle between Immortal Monarch was only like this. The 9 blood rivers swept down from the sky. Even at tens of km away, the Immortal Kings felt it was hard to breathe. There was shock in Ding Jie's eyes. He thought he was at the peak of Immortal King, but he couldn't beat Yin Jiutian. That was all right, as Yin Jiutian was Immortal King Tertiary Stage. But now, he fought he couldn't beat Yi-Mo's enemy Kaimi. This guy was even stronger than Yin Jiutian. This Kaimi seemed to only be Immortal King Primary Stage. No matter if he hid his power or not, he was definitely an Immortal King. As the 9 rivers fell, the bluish-gray dimension turned blood red. The revolting smell completely sealed this space shut. Yi-Mo didn't move at all. He was waiting for Kaimi to use this. If Kaimi didn't use Blood River 9 Falls, it wouldn't be easy for him to kill Kaimi in his own way. Kaimi was once a divine emperor. Who knows what means he hasn't used yet? The nearby people could only see 9 blood rivers covering the heavens and sweeping at Yi-Mo. Yi-Mo never thought of running away. The moment Kaimi used it, Yi-Mo used his space shatter. Explosions sounded amidst the blood river. Soon, The immortals saw void runes forming outside the blood river and then gathering together before sweeping up the nearby void lethal force, forming an invisible lethal force whirlpool. What fist god art is this? The nearby immortal kings looked at Space Shatter in shock. Seeing this, Kaimi frowned. As a past divine emperor, his vision was countless times better than others. Yemo's Space Shatter was completely different to Void before. This time, Yemo just used one punch, but its power was much greater than the 9 punches together. This meant that Yemo fused the 9 punches into a new god art. Kami was shocked. If he didn't kill Yemo today, there would be endless trouble. In a few months, he fused a new god art. If he didn't kill Yemo while he wasn't strong, then it would be thousands of times harder later. Rumble. The lethal force whirlpool exploded in the blood river, and the 9 blood rivers exploded. The ground and the void was a complete mess. Kaimi sneered. The blood spears shrieked in the air, and before they completely disappeared, another 9 blood rivers fell along with Kaimi's frigid voice. The Emperor shall see if he can take a second blood river 9 fall. The second blood river 9 fall smashed down. Space erupted. Even 100 km away, the onlooking immortal kings found it hard to breathe. The second blood river 9 falls smashed down. Space erupted. Even 100 km away, the onlooking immortal kings found it hard to breathe. Such terrifying god art, used consecutively, was too powerful for any of them to stop alone. Yemo was just an immortal king. Could he stop the second blood river 9 falls? Even Ding Jie looked at Yemo with a worry. He admired Yemo the most, but he wasn't sure if Yemo could stop this. After punching out the first Space Shatter, Yemo's face only went a little paler. Now that the second blood river 9 falls came, he instead took a step in and punched again. After this punch, the nearby space switched. The void and lethal force moved by the blood river 9 falls turned into fist runes. Yemo's punch carried 9 lethal force whirlpools and smashed towards the blood river 9 falls. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The two clashed head-on, and 9 heavenly shocking explosions sounded. Blood splashed everywhere, and immortal essence dispersed. The nearby space started to rattle heavily. Waves of immortal essence and spirit-sent space waves were clearly visible. Everyone took in a cold breath. The first time they clashed, no one saw how Yemo countered the blood river 9 falls, but this time, everyone saw clearly. Yemo used his fist god art to smash the blood river 9 falls head-on. Yemo's fist god art was formed by many lethal force whirlpools that could also divide into 9 or even more. Yemo could use his fist to break Kaimi's blood river, meaning that his body was powerful to a new extreme. This couldn't be done with just god art. In the immortal realm, those using fist god arts were pretty much all body refinement cultivators. Some experienced people realized why Yemo delayed using his first punch. It was to bait Kaimi to use the second blood river 9 falls. Kaimi realized this too. His heart was shook. He completely didn't expect Yemo to be able to progress this much in a few months. Yemo used 9 punches to stop his blood river 9 falls, and afterwards, his immortal essence and spirit sense was used by more than 90%. But today, Yemo not only fused the 9 punches into a new fist god art, but could use it twice. No wonder you dare to stay here to wait for me. It's because you found a way to counter my blood river 9 falls. Kaimi sneered and suddenly howled, spitting out blood river 9 falls. The third blood river 9 falls struck down. The terrifying blood river chi emanated. The nearby space had been ravaged by 3 blood river 9 falls, and finally marks started to appear that could be seen by the naked eye. Yemo's face changed. He guessed that Kaimi would be able to use blood river 9 falls twice, but he didn't expect 3 times. Seeing Yemo's face change, Kaimi laughed. His complexion wasn't normal, clearly due to using blood river 9 falls for the 3rd time. You would never know what my next move is, and you would never guess where my real power is at. So today, you can only die here, blood river attack. Even if he was to be heavily injured, he would kill Yemo today. He didn't believe Yemo would be able to stop his blood river 9 falls a 3rd time. When the 3rd blood river fell, His Immortal King domain and Blood Spear had fused into the strongest Immortal King domain. This domain completely sealed off Yemo's exit. Yemo wasn't going to run. He never thought of it. He didn't move at all, and then suddenly punched out again, Space Shatter. Space Shatter? It had to shatter space to be called Space Shatter. Yemo's Space Shatter couldn't shatter the space here, but it could shatter Kaime's Blood River Nine Falls. This punch smashed out, the fist force swept the nearby few hundred-kilometer lethal force rushed, and the fist force was like rolling ocean. The third Space Shatter was stronger than the first and second one. Seeing this, Kaime's face changed drastically. He completely didn't expect Yemo to improve this much in a mere 4 months. It was already crazy enough that he could use Blood River Nine Falls one extra time during this time. Even if Yemo got the Chaos Nest, he shouldn't be able to use 3 of such terrifying Fist God art consecutively. He didn't know that Yemo cultivated the 3-birth chant. It was the most suitable thing for deriving everything. Once the Space Shatter God art was derived, it was a new God art. This new God art didn't require immortal essence and spirit sense used for 9 voids. It used even less. Rumble, terrifying chi, and explosions rustled about. The outside Immortal Kings could only see waves of lethal force whirlpool and layers of blood mist entwining. With the third Blood River Nine Falls being smashed away, Kaimi immediately felt the backlash. He was already at his wit's end after using 3 Blood River Nine Falls. If he knew Yemo could stop his 3 Blood River Nine Falls, he would never fight Yemo in this way. Kami knew he had lost completely. Kami didn't even care about his blood spear anymore. He burned his immortal essence and life like crazy. He had to get away as quickly as possible. If he was in essence spirit form, it would be better, but Lu Zhengxuan's body confined him greatly. But Yemo wasn't going to give him the chance. Lightning crossed in the sky, instantly forming a lightning spear containing endless killing intent. Kaime's Immortal King domain instantly shattered, and the blood spear was about to fall. Kaimi knew lightning sand and just barely moved his body. Splurge! The lightning spear passed through Kaimi, sending him into the not yet dissipated fist whirlpool. Kaimi's body was instantly obliterated. Yemo stood in this blood, but his face was very bleak. A divine emperor wasn't so easy to kill indeed. Even though he crippled Kaimi's body, his essence spirit still got away. Not only this, he didn't even see the red spear. The divine emperor essence spirit was terrifyingly refined. It could get away in that terrifying lethal force whirlpool, and Yemo didn't even know how it got away. The only thing that Yemo felt assured about was that for Kaimi's essence spirit to reach Immortal King level again, it would require a few hundred to 1,000 years, and this was if he could find a suitable body. Otherwise, it would take longer. Of course, if he encountered some insane fortune, it would be hard to say. Yemo, you're strong indeed. Even such a powerful guy was slaughtered by you with only essence spirit running away. Ding Jie was the first to congratulate Yemo. The nearby Immortal King surrounded over. An extremely beautiful female immortal walked up softly to Yemo and bowed. Hua Yushue, thank Martial Brother Yi for saving my life, Yushue. She had a faint aroma on her body that would render men with a throbbing and good feeling. Yemo had his instincts and didn't have a good impression of this female immortal, so he nodded. No need to thank me. I didn't come just to save you. She's from Demon Joy sect. I'm certain that she came to seduce you. If you hint a little, you guys can jump in bed immediately. Ding Jie sound transmission. Yemo thought of another woman. She was from Demon Joy sect too, called Hua Rushue. Clearly these two were related. Thinking about this, Yemo sneered. Demon Joy sect really ruined the name Shui. TL note. Shui means snow. He even killed Demon Joy sect Immortal King. How could he suck up to Demon Joy sect? Hearing this, Hua Yushue's face changed immediately. But before she spoke, Yemo dashed among the Immortal Kings and grabbed a pink-dressed female, Immortal, asking very nervously, "What did you say? Say it again." Yemo, she's from Wujia Sound River. It's the #1 sect of Yu Heaven. Wuhua Immortal Emperor saying, Qi never comes out, but his power is no weaker than Feng Kong Grand Emperor. He's even at the level of half-divine. The second immortal emperor, Wu Yin Immortal Emperor and Wan Shuyu, is Immortal Emperor Peak 2. No one dares to mess with them. It's said Wujia Sound River has 4 immortal emperors and more than 10 immortal monarchs. Don't mess with her. Yimo, she's from Wujia Sound River. It's the #1 sect of Yu Heaven. Wuhua Immortal Emperor saying, Qi never comes out, but his power is no weaker than Feng Kong Grand Emperor. He's even at the level of half-divine. The second immortal emperor, Wu Yin Immortal Emperor and Wan Shuyu, is Immortal Emperor Peak 2. No one dares to mess with them. It's said Wujia Sound River has 4 immortal emperors and more than 10 immortal monarchs. Don't mess with her. Seeing Yimo grab this pink dress female immortal, Ding Jie sound transmission to Yimo, fearing Yimo would do something inappropriate. Even his sect couldn't mess with Wujia Sound River. The top sects of Immortal Realm all have 3 immortal emperor, but Wujia Sound River has 4. Wujia Sound River was very dominant and protective. If their sect members was abused, they would definitely haunt the abuser. Yimo didn't seem to hear what Ding Jie said and kept staying coldly at the red-robed female immortal saying, "Say it again. What did you just say?" After her initial worry, she gradually calmed down. "Let me go first." The immortal king's face burst red and yelled. Yimo felt he was doing wrong and quickly let go, but he didn't have the time to apologize. He just stared at her and said, "I just said you look a bit like the image carried on Xiaoyun's jade card. I didn't offend you. What right did you have to attack me?" Yimo was dumbfounded. He just kept murmuring Xiaoyun. Mu Xiaoyun went missing in the small world, and he went to the small world many times but couldn't find her. Now that he heard Xiaoyun's name again, especially how she carried an image of him, how could he not be excited? "Show me Xiaoyun's image. Tell me where she is?" Yimo asked desperately. Seeing Yimo didn't have the intention to apologize, the female immortal could only say, 10 years ago, Wu Yin martial ancestor brought Xiaoyun back. I've seen her once because martial sister Peng and I arranged her residence. I only asked martial sister Peng because I saw you. However, we never saw Xiaoyun after that. At the time, Xiaoyun carried a jade card, and inside was your image. Her surname is Mu, right? Yimo asked loudly, completely forgetting the tone of his voice. The female immortal subconsciously frowned but still nodded yes. She's called Mu Xiaoyun. This is her image. Then, the female immortal took out a crystal ball and casually printed an image inside. Yimo grabbed the crystal ball immediately and murmured, "It's Xiaoyun indeed. It really is her." Now, everyone realized that this Mu Xiaoyun was probably someone Yimo knew. However, she appeared at Wujia Sound River. How is she now? Is she Wu Yin Xianbei's disciple? Yimo put away the crystal ball and asked shakily. Wu Yin was an immortal emperor. If Xiaoyun was her disciple, she would be doing well. The female immortal shook her head. "I'm not sure because I never saw her again. Martial ancestor Wu Yin never took her to some gathering or public events." Yimo frowned. Xiaoyun might not be Wu Yin, immortal emperor's disciple. If a master liked his disciple, he would take the disciple to all sorts of public events. Another thing that made Yimo more confused was that Xiaoyun's talent was very bad, just a little bit better than him. Even if she cultivated primordial chaos chant, she shouldn't be able to ascend in such a short time. If Xiaoyun didn't ascend on her own, then she was brought over by Wu Yin from another realm, or she had some great fortune. But even if she did, how could she keep it if Wu Yin, immortal emperor, knew about it? "When you saw Xiaoyun, what was her cultivation level?" Yimo asked. The female immortal dazed and said it seemed to be truth realization state. "I didn't really care." How could an immortal king care about an ordinary immortal ascension disciple? "Yimo, you know this Mu Xiaoyun?" Dingjie looked at Yimo and asked. Yimo nodded. "That's right, Dingjie. How did you guys come in here? Can you go out? I'm going to go find Xiaoyun." Yimo worried that Xiaoyun might not have much status in Wu Yin Sound River. No one would care if an immortal ascension disciple died in such a big sect. Ding Jie shook his head. "Probably not. When we came in, those immortal emperors aid, that even if you want to go out, it would be 12 years later." As soon as Ding Jie said this, a red flying sword landed. Ding Jie grabbed it and immediately said in joy, Sani said immortal emperors have come in. They're at Star Defense Immortal City. Let's hurry over and see. I'm bored of this place already. Hearing this, the rest of the people rejoiced, and the immortal kings quickly left. 10,000 great eternity immortal and immortal king gathered outside the city. Yemo came here and immediately saw more than 10 immortal emperor. Their force was overwhelming. Yemo took in a cold breath and carefully controlled his chi. If it was a mortal monarch, he wouldn't really care, but against an immortal emperor, Yemo didn't have any confidence. He was probably no match for even the weakest immortal emperor. A long-bearded handsome man stood in the air and said to the rest of the people, "We originally guessed this was the entrance to the Chaos Star Realm, but instead it's the dimension where star beasts live. It seems some problem occurred here, and it's now connected to another realm. The exit has appeared. Everyone can go back from where they came from. Those who want can come with us to the other realm." Yemo knew this person. It was Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor. Wushuang, Immortal Emperor, was killed by this guy. Then, Wei Feng, Immortal Emperor, left in a dashing light. The rest of the Immortal Emperors didn't even say anything and left. Yemo didn't know where the other realm appeared, but he wasn't interested at all. He suddenly thought of one thing and said to Ding Jie, "Ding Jie, did that Wuyin, Immortal Emperor, come?" "She did. She was among the people who left." Ding Jie quickly sound transmissioned. "Wuyin, Immortal Emperor Master, please wait." Yemo quickly called and was about to chase up. Mu Xiaoyan was taken back by her. Even if Wuyin was a divine emperor, he would go up and ask. But she was too fast and had already disappeared. "How dare you? A mere immortal king dares to stop Wuyin, martial ancestor. Do you not want to live?" A black-faced man sneered and blocked Yemo's path. This was an immortal monarch middle stage. Yemo stopped. He knew he wouldn't be able to catch up. Martial Uncle Ji Shui. He said he had a friend at Wujia Sound River. He probably wanted to ask about this friend from Wuyin, martial ancestor. The pink-dressed female immortal explained. Yemo said heavily, "That's right, Wuyin Qianbei's disciple is my friend. So I want to ask her if my friend is at Wujia Sound River." Ji Shui, immortal monarch, sneered and looked at Yemo in contempt. Wuyin, martial ancestor, wouldn't take anyone in for disciple. "Are you dreaming? From what I know, martial ancestor Wuyin never had a disciple. You don't need to ask." Yemo's eyes went cold and looked at the female immortal. "What's going on?" "You said Xiaoyan was brought to Wujia Sound River by Wuyin Qianbei." The female immortal was lost for words. She was scared of Yemo from the bottom of her heart. Now that Yemo asked, she could only say, "I don't know if Xiaoyan is martial ancestor Wuyin's disciple. I've only seen her once." Hearing this, Yemo was very worried. What good thing could an immortal emperor old monster do to an immortal ascension cultivator if it wasn't to take her in as disciple? "You're asking to die." The immortal monarch saw Yemo's tone was getting rude and became furious. Yemo didn't have the mood to care which sect he was from. He hacked out Zisu, and a 1-kilometer-long purple sword ray extended out. The rest of the immortals felt like that Yemo's sword had grabbed the nearby tens of km of space together. The rest of the immortals felt like that Yemo's sword had grabbed the nearby tens of km of space together. Looking at the force with which Yemo and the immortal monarch attacked, everyone even thought that Yemo was an immortal monarch, and this Wujia Sound River immortal monarch was an immortal king. Ding Jie's eyes shot out gleams. He didn't even blink as he watched Yemo's strike. He had seen this strike. He was there when Yemo learned this strike at the Tidal Status Tower. This strike carried a blade that had this destructive chi that would tear apart everything. It seemed even more terrifying than Yemo's 3 space shatters. The nearby immortals immediately retreated after feeling the destructive chi from Yemo's strike. The feeling that Yemo's strike gave everyone was that if they retreated a little bit slower, they would be swept in by the strike and annihilated. Those immortal kings who saw Yemo fight with Kai Mi just realized that Yemo didn't even use his magic artifact while fighting Kai Mi. This was their first time seeing Yemo's magic artifact. It was an extremely ugly purple sword. When Yimo used crevice, Ji Shui, immortal monarch's face, changed immediately. His green long sword with the green sword veil instantly separated under this strike and dissipated. His immortal monarch domain wasn't actually weaker than Yi Mo's immortal king domain. It completely crippled under the destructive chi of this strike. Crack, crack. The sound spread out. Yi Mo's rune seemed to be about to tear open the void and strike down from this immortal monarch's eyebrows. Rumble. In his desperation, Ji Shui, immortal monarch's green sword, turned into a green ray. Yi Mo's crevice chi gradually grew faint in this green ray. Splurge, it was the sound of flesh being cut open. Everyone held their breath. They were familiar with this sound. It was the sound of body about to cripple. Ji Shui, immortal monarch, was extremely shocked. Just when he wanted to use his trump card, he saw that 10-meter-long purple sword hanging above his forehead, but it stopped. If it continued to strike down, his body would have been cut in half. Even so, there was a long bloody mark on Ji Shui, immortal monarch's forehead. Just one move, an immortal monarch middle stage lost to an immortal king. This was too terrifying. Just who are you? Ji Shui, immortal monarch, asked shakily. The nearby immortals took in a cold breath. This was their first time seeing such an absurd immortal king. Those immortal kings were even shaking. Only they knew that Yi Mo had already fought a heavy battle with someone far stronger. Ji Shui, immortal monarch. Under such situation, Yi Mo could still subjugate an immortal monarch middle stage immediately. He was too terrifying. Yi Saint, who made her way over, also saw this move, but she knew Yi Mo's power just like Ding Jie. In her eyes, Yi Mo was bound to become a god-like figure. Yi Mo wouldn't even be afraid of immortal emperors in the future, much less an immortal monarch. Her eyes lit up. She had only parted from Yi Mo for a few years, and his power increased many times. Who I am doesn't concern. I can let you go this time. Tell me about Shaoyan. Otherwise, I won't be so polite next time. Yi Mo said coldly. Ji Shui, immortal monarch, took in a cold breath. Although he had many god arts he didn't use yet, he knew he was no match for Yi Mo even if he used them. You're a mere immortal king. Are you really going to fight Wuyin Sound Rivers? Ji Shui, immortal monarch, said. Yi Mo waved his hand. Zisu fell back into the sheath. Then, Yi Mo said coldly, if I was going to fight Wuyin Sound River, you would be dead now. You just need to answer me if Mu Shaoyan is still at Wuyin Sound River. Where is she? Take me to Wuyin Sound River to find her, and your business is over. Ji Shui, immortal monarch, said coldly, even if you kill me, I can't take you to find that Mu Shaoyan. First, I've never seen her, nor heard of her. Second, if it was brought back by Wuyin martial ancestor, I can't enter the Wuyin Peak, where Wuyin martial ancestor lives. Yi Mo ignored Ji Shui and said to Ding Jie, I'm going to find Shaoyan. Where are you going? Of course with you. No matter how big of a sect Wuyin Sound River is, I believe they wouldn't stop you seeing your friend. Ding Jie said, Brother Yi, I'll go with you. Yi Saint flew over and said. Ji Shui, immortal monarch, sunk his face and said, Ding Jie, you're one of the most core immortal king of Qi Emperor sect. Do you know what the consequence of going to Wujia Sound River is? Is your Qi Emperor sect going to fight Wujia Sound River? And Yi Saint, you're the saint of Jiufan Immortal Pond, yet you call random man brother, and you're also going to Wujia Sound River. Do you think we're easy to abuse? Ding Jie laughed. Ji Shui, immortal monarch, I'm respecting you by calling you immortal monarch. Wujia Sound River is indeed a big sect, much bigger than my Qi Emperor sect. But is going with Yi Mo to find his friend fighting Wujia Sound River? If you're really going to count that as fighting Wujia Sound River, I'll take it. There's nothing I'm afraid of. Your sect's name is big, but not enough to scare me. Yi Saint said plainly, Brother Yi has helped me greatly. His business is my business. If Ji Shui Qianbei has to say that me saying Brother Yi is against the rules of Jiufan Immortal Pond, then you can go report me at Jiufan Immortal Pond. If my sect kicks me out, then I have nothing to say. Ji Shui, immortal monarch's face changed. If it was some other sect, his threats could suppress them, but Ding Jie and Zhang Tai are both from Emperor sections. Although they weren't as strong as Wujia Sound River, they couldn't be ignored easily. Plus, These two were the top-level sect members. They were the future of the sect. Yimo patted Ding Jie's shoulder, but before he could say anything, Ding Jie laughed. Brother Yi, if you look down on me, North Time Immortal King, then don't let me go. Yimo didn't want Ding Jie involved, but since he said this, Yimo laughed. Okay, let's go Wujia Sound River together. I want to see how they won't let me take Xiaoyan. Then, Yimo released space-time boat. Ding Jie, let's go to Wujia Sound River. Yimo didn't care about revealing his low-grade, flying god artifact since he revealed his Immortal King identity. He believed that he could protect himself even against a mortal emperor. He didn't need to be so fearful. Yimo believed in Divine Emperor wouldn't come looking for his trouble for a low-grade god artifact. Seeing the three leave, Ji Shui, Immortal Monarch, sneered. Taking people from Wujia Sound River, are they arrogant or ignorant? Seeing Yimo leave in space-time boat, many people were jealous and envious, but no one dared to go up to rob it. As the bluish-gray dimension was opened, many immortals flew out. Some Immortal Monarch and Immortal King stayed and followed the Immortal Emperors. Yimo, do you think that realm that suddenly appeared would be the realm that disappeared? Ding Jie asked. Saint Yi also looked at Yimo. She had the same suspicion. I understand, Yimo suddenly said. The two stared at Yimo in confusion. Yimo said something completely irrelevant. Xiaoyan was later tested to be pure with spirit root. She cultivated slow because of her cultivation method before. Later on, she cultivated slow because she missed me a lot and didn't have the mind to cultivate. Ding Jie and Yi glanced at each other, but didn't interrupt Yimo's thoughts. They had guessed just how important Mu Xiaoyan was to Yimo. Spirit sense can't scan in at all. An Immortal Emperor primary stage came to the crevice where Yimo was cultivating before and said, Spirit sense can't scan in at all. An Immortal Emperor primary stage came to the crevice where Yimo was cultivating before and said, They were all Immortal Emperors, but none of them want to go in first, including Feng Kong and Blood River Grand Emperor. At this moment, an extremely dense Immortal Spirit Chi came out of the black hole. Such dense, immortal spirit chi, the Immortal Emperors glanced at each other. I'll go in first. As soon as Feng Kong Grand Emperor said this, the Immortal Emperors saw a blood color silently sweep past and go into the black hole. A blood spear, the essence spirit controlling it is very weak, but is very experienced. He could even cheat us. Blood River Grand Emperor looked and said. Feng Kong Grand Emperor sneered and immediately got up, instantly dashing into this black hole. The rest of the Immortal Emperors saw this and all followed in. After another while, a few Immortal Kings arrived here too. However, these Immortal Kings were immediately swooped out by the black hole. Other than one, the rest of them were all torn to pieces. Wujia Sound River, it was the top sect in all of the entire Grand Heaven domain. Not even the Yu Heaven Lord dared to offend Wujia Sound River. 3 months later, Yimo's space-time boat had went in Yu Heaven. A few days later, it appeared outside Wujia Sound River sect. Looking at the mountain range spanning a few 100,000 km, Yimo gasped. MOU Immortal Sect was rather grand, but throwing it in the Wujia Sound River, it wouldn't even be seen. In the few 100,000 km of mountain ranges, the dense immortal spirit chi clouds circulated in the air, mixing with ordinary cloud, forming a scene of extreme beauty. Amidst the clouds, for golden words floated about Wujia Sound River. The words could be seen no matter which direction you looked at it. Songs of extremely pleasing, immortal music sounded from inside the ranges, rejuvenating people's soul and making them not want to leave. This is Wujia Sound River. It has 2 main peaks. The first main peak is Wujia Peak. The second main peak is the peak where the immortal music is coming from. It's called Sound River Peak. It's said that Wujia Sound River is created by Wujia Immortal Emperor and Sound River Immortal Emperor together. The 2 Immortal Emperors reached the extreme of cultivation and disappeared in pursuit of Dao vindication. Ding Jie said, Brother Yi, Wujia Sound River has 4 Immortal Emperors now. Other than Wuhua Immortal Emperor and Wuyin Immortal Emperor, There's two Immortal Emperor primary stage. They're Wuyu Immortal Emperor and Wuhui Immortal Emperor. Wuhua Immortal Emperor isn't at Wujia Sound River. No one knows where he went. Wuyin Immortal Emperor went to the New Realm and shouldn't be back in a short while. But Wuyu Immortal Emperor and Wuhui Immortal Emperor are probably still here. Yi hesitated and said what was in her heart. Yemo knew what she meant and waved his hand. I'm no match for Wujia Sound River. I know that very well. But my wife is at Wujia Sound River. Even though I know I'm no match for them, I still have to see her. Sharon is your wife? Yi was going to persuade Yemo to calm down, but hearing this, she immediately forgot her purpose. Yemo nodded yes. She's my wife. I haven't seen her for 100 years. Then Yemo looked at the Grand Wujia Sound River and sighed. He wasn't dumb. He knew it probably wouldn't be easy trying to take Xiaoyan from there. If Wuyin Immortal Emperor was an ordinary person, it was fine, but Wuyin Immortal Emperor was the second strongest in the second. How could she easily let go of someone she brought back? If Wuyin Immortal Emperor really took Xiaoyan to be her disciple, Yemo knew it was fine to leave her here for the moment, but he subtly felt that Wuyin didn't bring Xiaoyan back to be her disciple. Yemo had been in contact with some Immortal Emperor and even Divine Emperor. He knew that in the Immortal Realm, even an Immortal Emperor had limitations on his lifespan. If one couldn't vindicate Tao at the end of his life, he would have to give up his body and possess another one, beginning cultivation again. Who was to be sure that Wuyin Immortal Emperor didn't bring Mu Xiaoyan back for possession? If Xiaoyan really ascended, then she was definitely pure with spirit root. The immortal root it changed would be extremely perfect too. On the way, Yemo had asked Yi and Ding Jie about this Wuyin Immortal Emperor. He learned that she never had a Tao partner, and her age was very old. She was older than many dead Immortal Emperors. Other than this, it was also fabled that she was an Immortal Pill Grandmaster. The Immortal Pill Grandmaster in the Immortal Realm was different to Cultivation Realm Pill King. In the Cultivation Realm, the Fire Spirit Root was the best for pill concoction, but in the Immortal Realm, rare flames could be found elsewhere. The real Immortal Pill Great Masters all came from wood Immortal Spirit Roots. That was Mu Xiaoyan. Yemo, Yi thinks that we should be polite first and try to avoid conflict. Ding Jie said. Yemo smiled. If I was really reckless, I would be killed that Ji Shui Immortal Monarch. How can I let him live? I'll go knock. Ding Jie saw Yi still in a daze, so he said. Yemo waved his hand. I'll go myself. You guys came with me. If something happened, you guys can get involved, but I don't want your sect to get involved too. Ding Jie heard this and nodded. If he knocked first, it meant he was leaving. If Yemo knocked them, it meant that they were just helping Yemo. Yemo stood before Wujia Sound River and said, Gonghua Heaven Mo, you immortal sect leader Yemo has come to visit. Then Ding Jie said, Great Red Heaven Chi, he Emperor sect North Time, Immortal King Ding Jie has come to visit. Yi quickly said, Fan Du Heaven Jiu Fan, Immortal Pond St. John Tai, has come to visit. Hearing this, Yemo was very grateful. He was just a low heaven domain sect leader. He didn't even have the right to talk before Wujia Sound River. Meanwhile, these two were different. No sect dares to ignore both of their sects at the same time. Not even Wujia Sound River. Soon, they saw the sect mountain open. Two golden rays drew open, and a beautiful immortal sound came from within. Moments later, an immortal king had come to greet. Behind him were tens of extremely beautiful female immortal standing on the rainbow cloud. Wujia Sound River welcomed the three immortal kings. It was a middle-aged immortal king. He looked very ordinary, but his smile seemed very genuine. This wasn't the top-level welcome, but for them three, it was rather respectful. After some greeting, the middle-aged immortal king led the way. Yemo and them soon went into the guest palace. The two sides were filled with people. It gave Yemo the feeling that Wujia Sound River already knew they were coming. The three immortal kings have come from a long way, lighting up and bringing honor to Wujia Sound River. I'm the sect leader, Lu Li, an immortal and ethereal-looking man walked in here. Yemo could tell this Lu Li was Immortal Monarch Tertiary Stage. Yimo didn't feel it was strange that an immortal monarch was the sect leader of Wujia Sound River. Most sects were like this. The strongest person wasn't the sect leader. Luli was relatively polite to Yimo, but after everyone sat down, Luli didn't talk to Yimo first but smiled at Ding Jie and Yi, asking them about He Emperor's sect and Jiu Fan Immortal Pond. It was as though Yimo was their follower. Even after that, he didn't ask about Mo Yu Immortal Sect. Yimo's face was calm and didn't show any anger. He came to take Xiaoyan away, not connect with Wujia Sound River. Yimo's face was calm and didn't show any anger. He came to take Xiaoyan away, not connect with Wujia Sound River. Ding Jie couldn't resist saying, "Sect Leader Master, Yimo is my best friend, so I came with him this time. It's the same for Saint Yi." Yi got up and said yes. Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch Master, Brother Yi came to your honored sect for some business. The two used different ways to avoid called sect leader, clearly showing their discontent. Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch, glanced at Yimo in confusion. He didn't expect a mere immortal king middle stage would have the capability to make Saint Yi call him Brother Yi. Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch, was very cunning. He immediately laughed. "Mou Immortal Sect Leader came visit my Wujia Sound River. It's a great joy. We welcome you greatly. Come, send up the immortal fruits and wine to greet the guests." With this, those female immortals on the side took out the wine and fruits, placing them on the tables. Yimo was very calm. This Ji Sheng was very cunning. It seemed like he suddenly changed. His sentence made it seem like he not only was admitting wrong, and also showed how seriously he took Yimo now. It was as though him ignoring Yimo didn't happen at all. The only reason he did this was to verify how much Yi and Ding Jie supported him. Yimo didn't care about the immortal fruits at all. He just got up and saluted with his fists. "Yimo, greet Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch Master. I came to Wujia Sound River this time because I heard my wife Mu Xiaoyan was at your honored sect. So I came to take her away. Please fulfill my wish." Mu Xiaoyan, Jie Sheng, Immortal Monarch, repeated in confusion. This time he was really confused. "Yes, Mu Xiaoyan." Yi came up to explain how Mu Xiaoyan was brought back by Wuyin Immortal Emperor and was probably at Wuyin Peak now. Martial ancestor Wuyin brought her back. Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch, dazed. If it was some ordinary disciple, he probably would have agreed on Ding Jie and Yi's account. Ding Jie and Yi's Immortal King title couldn't be seen at all on the Immortal King tablet, and news of this had long gotten out. Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch, also knew that their future would be far greater than his. Otherwise, he wouldn't be coming to greet them personally. But since this involved Wuyin Martial Ancestor, it was hard. Even he didn't dare to waste time at Wuyin Peak. This, Ji Sheng, Immortal Emperor, hesitated and still said, "Sect Leader Yi, if Mu Xiaoyan was an ordinary disciple, I can make the decision, but she was brought back by Martial Ancestor Wuyin. I can't make the decision. I have to wait until Martial Ancestor Wuyin comes back." Yimo immediately said, "I'm very anxious. If Sect Leader really can't make the decision, I don't dare to trouble you, but it should be fine for me to just see her, right?" Ji Sheng hesitated again. To see her, one must go to Wuyin Peak. Martial Ancestor Wuyin wasn't here. Who would dare to go in? No, Martial Ancestor Wuyin isn't here. No one has the right to enter Wuyin Peak. Might be the sect leader, but I can't go in too. So I can't agree to your request. Ji Sheng could only say. Yimo was very desperate, but he knew he couldn't force his way here. "Sect Leader Master, I'm a low heaven domain sect leader, and in terms of cultivation level, I'm also a Wan Bei. I shouldn't be troubling you, but Xioyan is indeed my wife. If I don't see her, my heart really can't rest." Martial Ancestor Wuyin went to the new realm. It's uncertain when she would come back. Wan Bei wouldn't be able to wait till that time. Yimo tried to speak euphemistically. But before Yimo finished, a sneer sounded. "How dare you? You're saying that you must see that Mu Xiaoyan. If we don't let you see, you're not going to go?" As this voice sounded, a figure that made people unable to breathe appeared at this palace. Yimo took the forefront of the pressure and immediately retreated a few steps. Only now did people see an aggressive-looking youth in the palace. Ji Sheng greet Martial Uncle Wu Hui. Ji Sheng quickly bowed and said. The rest of the female immortals in the palace also bowed. Wu Hui waved his hand to Ji Sheng and stared at Emo. Is that so? Emo resisted against this strong pressure and said yes. I must see her. Ha! Wu Hui, immortal emperor, laughed. A mere immortal king insect dares to act so cocky in front of me. I'm not going to let you see her. What are you going to do? Ding Jie, and he almost couldn't take it when they didn't even face the pressure directly. One could imagine how much pain Emo was in. Ding Jie quickly saluted with his fists. Qi Emperor Sect Ding Jie greet Wu Hui, immortal emperor master. Emo is Wan Bei's. So what about Qi Emperor Sect? A little immortal king has no right to talk here. On Qi Emperor Sect's account, I want kill you, piss off. Then, Wu Hui, immortal emperor, grabbed with immortal essence giant hand, and Ding Jie was thrown out. Yi's face changed and got up too. However, she couldn't even speak and was thrown out as well. Seeing this, Emo knew things weren't good. Wu Hui then stared coldly. You're not bad. A mere immortal king, but you can injure my sect's immortal monarch. The emperor shall see how strong you are. Then Wu Hui grabbed towards Yemo's heart sunk. He finally knew what was going on. This Wu Hui, immortal emperor, didn't care about Mu Xiaoyan, but cared about how an immortal king could beat an immortal monarch. If he was caught, he would be dead for certain. Realizing this, Emo punched out without hesitation. Space shatter. Emo used this at full power without hesitation. Immediately, 9 space-shattering storms formed. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Wu Hui's immortal essence giant hand dissipated, but Emo was struck back flying. He spat a mouthful of blood and broke out of the palace. Seeing this battle, Ji Sheng, immortal monarch's face changed. He saw clearly that even he couldn't stop Emo's punch. He didn't know Emo was this strong, as he didn't receive news from Ji Shui, immortal monarch. If he knew Emo was this strong, he wouldn't suggest using the means that Martial Uncle Wu Hui used. It wasn't easy for Wujia Sound River to reach today. It was extremely dumb to offend someone with terrifying potential. If they could kill him, it was fine, but if not, it would bring endless trouble to Wujia Sound River. Wu Hui didn't expect Emo broke through his immortal emperor binding with one punch and charged out of the palace. No wonder Ji Shui was no match for you. You have some power indeed. Wu Hui rejoiced. The stronger Emo was, the bigger his secret was. He was also shocked Emo could break through this palace. Its formation wasn't the best, but was still a defense shielding formation. If one didn't know formation, even an immortal emperor might not be able to break through it. This meant that first, Emo was a good immortal formation great master. Another was that Emo might be a powerful body refinement immortal, or he can't break the formation with his body. Martial Uncle Wu Hui. Just when Wu Hui, immortal emperor, wanted to charge out, Ji Sheng, immortal monarch, called. You want to say this person has boundless potential? We shouldn't offend him before capturing him, right? Wu Hui, immortal emperor, said coldly. Ji Sheng, immortal monarch, quickly said, wise martial uncle. Seal the sect now. If I let a mere immortal king leave, I would be too useless. Wu Hui, immortal emperor, said coldly. Bastard. Ding Jie cursed outside the sect. Bastard. Ding Jie cursed outside the sect. He asked desperately, Ding Jie, what do we do now? As soon as she said this, there was a rumbling sound. The Wujia Sound River they could see with their spirit sense was now gone. Wu Hui, that old bastard, sealed the sect because he doesn't want Emo out. We're too weak now, it's pointless worrying. Ding Jie felt helpless. Yi had calmed down now. She was also thinking desperately for a way. Ding Jie suddenly said, Zhan Tai, we're friends with Emo, right? Of course, without Brother Yi, I wouldn't be able to create my god art no matter what, and I wouldn't be able to get out of the title status tower and reach the top to write my name. Yi said without hesitation. Good. Ding Jie said, and continued, it's useless even if we charge him with our current power, plus we can't even get in. The only thing we can do is ask our sect for help. There was a sliver of disappointment in Yi's eyes. Martial brother Ding, I'm afraid this is very hard. Although I'm the saint of Geofan Immortal Pond, it's not because how strong I am, but because my talent is high. Although my master is very nice to me, she might not be able to persuade the immortal emperor in the sect to help Brother Yi against Wujia Sound River. Your sect would probably be the same too. There was a sliver of absolution in Ding Jie's eyes. Even if you don't say it, I know. There's a 90% chance that the immortal emperor in the sect wouldn't come help Yimo. If Wu Hui kept us two there, it would be easier, but Wujia Sound River didn't touch us at all. Our sect has no reason to intervene. Martial brother Ding, what do you mean? Yi looked at Ding Jie in confusion. Ding Jie said heavily that Wu Hui wouldn't attack Yimo for no reason. The only reason is that he feels Yi Mo's cultivation speed is really fast and could easily beat Ji Shui, Immortal Monarch. That's why he wanted to check Yi Mo's secrets. If I'm not wrong, Yi Mo is very dangerous in that formation. Then what do we do? Yi was also very desperate. Ding Jie said coldly, it's never late to get revenge. If I can't get my sect to help, then I will go to MOU Immortal Sect and protect the sect first. No matter if Wujia Sound River would attack Yi Mo's sect, I must go help. When I'm strong enough, I will help Yi Mo get revenge. If I can't get help too, I will go with you, Yi said. The difference in power was too great. It made them both feel helpless. The reason Yi Mo could break out of this palace was just as Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, guessed. He saw the formation clearly and used Immortal God Body to his advantage. In the first fight with Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, he knew he was completely no match for him. The difference between Immortal Emperor and Immortal Monarch was even greater than Immortal King and Great Eternity Immortal. If he stayed to fight, it would be certain death. When Yimo broke out of the palace, he used instant transmission immediately, but not towards outside, but the inside. Since Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, was attacking him, the formation must be sealed. Even if he was an Immortal Formation Grandmaster, he wouldn't be able to break open the formation quickly. Of course, Yimo knew that no matter which direction he used instant transmission in, the space ripples would be noticed. So after one instant transmission, Yimo immediately hid himself and used instant transmission to go back before changing direction. Yimo knew clearly that no matter which direction he went, he wouldn't be able to hide it from Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. Wu Hui was only an Immortal Emperor primary stage, and he was this terrifying. If he encountered Immortal Emperor middle stage or even tertiary stage, he would be certainly dead. Yimo could only rest his hopes on his power stealth cultivation method. Wu Hui immediately caught the space ripples from Yimo's instant transmission and sneered, he has some power indeed. A mere immortal king can instant transmission such a distance. No wonder he dares to come here. As he spoke, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, took a step and arrived at where Yimo was before. His smirk froze on his face. He couldn't feel the next space ripple. There was no way Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, would believe a small immortal king could get away right under his eyes, but 5 minutes later, he realized he lost his target. Ji Sheng. Wu Hui yelled coldly. Ji Sheng immediately came up and said, Ji Sheng, greet Martial Uncle. Tell everyone in the sect about Immortal King to search for this person. He's definitely still in Wujia Sound River, and he has a powerful stealth cultivation method. Even I can't see through it. Hearing this, Ji Sheng's face changed. He feared the most that Yimo would get away. What are you scared of? I don't believe a mere Immortal King would be able to escape from my hands when he's in the formation of the sect. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, was very unhappy with Ji Sheng's reaction and reproached. Yes, Ji Sheng will immediately arrange it. Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch, was annoyed but had to agree. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, was the weakest Immortal Emperor in the Wujia Sound River and didn't reach Immortal Emperor for long, but his talent was very powerful. As an infinitely near level 7 Immortal Formation Grand Master, how could he not know that stealthing himself in the formation was dangerous? As soon as he got back to the guest palace, he carefully moved. Yimo just wanted to find a place to hide. It was impossible to leave Wujia Sound River now. Even if he could, he wouldn't leave. Xiaoyan was still here. Wu Hui stayed at where Yemo first went for 5 minutes. This time gave Yemo great help. He used this time to leave the guest palace and carefully move along another direction. For hours later, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, finally realized something was wrong. For hours had gone by, and the entire sect was searching. Wujia Sound River seemed big, but it really was nothing when the entire sect was searching. I understand. Wu Hui came back to the guest palace and started searching carefully. He finally realized why Yemo was completely gone after the first instant transmission. Yemo definitely instant transmission back immediately. However, when he realized this, for hours had gone. Such a cunning bastard. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, cursed and pointed at the few Immortal Formation Grandmaster and said, "Watch the sect formation closely. If there's any signs, tell me immediately." Yes, the Immortal Formation Masters bowed. Yemo was far from the guest palace now. He carefully controlled his chi, not daring to release it at all. He didn't even dare to go into the Golden Page world. Although the Golden Page world could turn into a speck of dust, it wasn't safer than him stealthing himself. Against an immortal emperor, even the smallest speck of dust can be exposed. Luckily, Wuyin and Wuhua, immortal emperors, weren't in the sect, or it would be really hard to say if he would be caught or not. With a few Immortal Formation Masters joining in, there were a few times Yemo was almost caught. Yemo knew that if he stayed in one place, there would be less chance he would be caught. However, he came in not to avoid being caught, but to take away Xiaoyan. With a few Immortal Formation Masters joining in, there were a few times Yemo was almost caught. Yemo knew that if he stayed in one place, there would be less chance he would be caught. However, he came in not to avoid being caught, but to take away Xiaoyan. 12 hours later, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, was finally getting annoyed. His spirit sense ravaged the sect. He didn't even let go of some solitary cultivation places. Yemo was shocked. He knew that if he continued like this, he would eventually be exposed. The Immortal Emperor's spirit sense was scanning everywhere. When 2 immortal kings passed by Yemo, Yemo really wanted to subjugate them and ask where Wuyin Peak was, but he knew that he couldn't do this. If he didn't do that, the Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, might think he had left the Sound River. If he did this, then even an idiot would know he was still in here. No need to go ahead. The 2 main peaks have natural formation. Now that Wuhua Martial Ancestor and Wuyin Martial Ancestor both aren't at the sect, no one can go in. The Sound River is about to be activated. We'll go around and check out Sheen Peak. Yemo heard this clearly and immediately rejoiced. When the 2 was far away, Yemo immediately dashed towards the direction they didn't go. After going for less than 15 minutes, Yemo heard this strange sound. At the start he didn't care, but soon he felt things wasn't right. That sound was like worms that stuck to his bones. It went into his meridians and sea of consciousness, almost making him scream out loud. Yemo was shocked. This sound was too terrifying. If he didn't go into the Golden Page world and kept listening for 7 minutes, he wouldn't be able to stay stealthed. At the start, the sounds were only slivers, but after half a minute, the sound came in waves of the river about to flood Yemo. Yemo used the 3-birth chant to resist against this terrifying sound. No wonder this place was called Wujia Sound River. If he didn't think of a way to leave, he would have to go into the Golden Page world where he would be exposed. Yemo didn't hesitate and immediately called out, "Small ginseng, small ginseng. I heard there's a natural formation here. It leads to the 2 main peaks. Take the Golden Page world and find this natural formation and go in." "Boss, it's right ahead. Leave it to me. I will get in as quickly as possible." Small ginseng patted its chest. "I'll go into the Golden Page world. Can you enter the natural formation before you can't withstand the natural formation?" Yemo wasn't certain if Small Ginseng would be able to last without his protection. Small Ginseng smiled, "Boss, I'm a natural immortal spirit. This sound doesn't have much effect on me, don't worry." Hearing this, Yemo immediately went into the Golden Page world. Small Ginseng took the Golden Page world and disappeared with lightning speed. In fact, small ginseng already brought the golden page world into the natural formation. 5 minutes later, Yimo came out of the golden page world. He found he was in a completely different place. The sound could still come in, but it was much weaker. Yimo's spirit sense scanned the 3 huge words Wuyin Peak. At this moment, he finally breathed easy. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, would definitely not be able to come in here. Even if he knew he was here, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, wouldn't dare to come in unless he dared to break Wuyin's natural formation. Yimo knew that he had to take away Xiaoyan before Wuyin Martial Ancestor came back. Otherwise, he would be a bug in a jar. There were only a few low-level female immortals at Wuyin Peak. No one else. Yimo's spirit sense scanned everywhere here and didn't worry about people knowing. Although there was a natural formation outside, the formations inside were everywhere. Yimo had to constantly break all sorts of formation. There was a top-level stealth formation in the depth of the Wuyin Peak and a good-looking garden. There was a blue room inside and an extremely beautiful woman wearing a pale yellow dress sitting in a blue room. She had a troubled look on her face. "I won't believe your words. My husband told me that I must not give anyone my cultivation method," this woman suddenly said, but there was no one in the room. As soon as she said this, there was a sneer. "Mu Xiaoyun, stop being stubborn. Now Wuyin, this bitch isn't here. If she comes back, then even if you want to tell me, you have no opportunity. Tell me now. As long as I break free, I can help you." Clearly, this extremely beautiful woman wearing yellow dress was Mu Xiaoyun. When Mu Xiaoyun was hesitating, the voice said again, "Is your cultivation method important or finding your husband important? If you don't leave here quickly, then you would be possessed by Nuan Shiyu, that bitch, in a few hundred years. What do you think she brought you here for? If she was going to take you in as disciple, she would have long done so. Nuan Shiyu, that bitch, is pure with immortal spirit root and a natural pill Dao body. You're exactly the same as her. The reason she hasn't possessed you yet is first to see if she can vindicate Dao, and second, she wants to see if she can find someone better." Mu Xiaoyan was confused. Since she was the most suitable for Nuan Shiyu, why did she want to find someone better? Mu Xiaoyan didn't ask, but that voice clearly knew what she thought and sneered. "Nuan Shiyu, that bitch, acts so cold and hates men. She extremely dislikes how you're not a virgin." Hearing this, Mu Xiaoyun's eyes showed longing. Luckily for her husband, if it wasn't for him, she might be possessed now already. Don't rejoice too early. If she can't find someone suitable, the first thing she does after coming back would be possessing you. If you still want to see your husband, then tell me your husband. Do you think I would greed for your cultivation method? Luo Bue, is not low enough to greed for the cultivation method of a newly ascended cultivator. It's because your cultivation method has no element and has a sliver of God rune. It might help me break my restriction. Mu Xiaoyan hesitated and said, "But my husband." "Your husband? How are you so obstinate? From what you said before, your husband might be in that small world or on Earth. If you don't hurry up and break free and become powerful, then when your husband dies of old age, you might not see him. A mere cultivation method is nothing." The voice rebuked. Hearing this, Mu Xiaoyan made up her mind. "Luo Qianbei, my cultivation method is called Primordial Chaos Chant. When my husband gave it to me, he said it was left behind by a Qianbei called Mengzhe. When Primordial Chaos first opened, fate was not yet born. 3 birth is behind. Fate is before. How can it surpass Primordial Chant? At the beginning of Qi, nourish the mother of soul." Luo Bue was confused at the start, but hearing the latter parts, she completely forgot about it. Such almighty cultivation method made her feel it was unreal. She was certain not even the immortal realm had such top-level cultivation method. Rumble. A sound suddenly stopped Mu Xiaoyan reading the cultivation method. A veiled, extremely beautiful woman suddenly appeared in Mu Xiaoyan's room. The space waves allowed Mu Xiaoyan to know that this person broke the space restriction to come here. Good cultivation method. There's such cultivation method. I have never seen such God-level cultivation method. This extremely beautiful woman murmured. Qianbei. Mu Xiaoyan was shocked. She didn't expect this Luo Bue, only heard her chant the cultivation method, and could break free. Just how powerful was this person? Luo Biue woke up and said, Xiaoyan, don't worry, I will definitely take you to leave. Wan Shuyu, that bitch isn't at Wuyin Peak. It's our opportunity. Wait on the side, I'm going to take out transmission rune. Just when Luo Biue wanted to take out a transmission rune from her sea of consciousness, the sound beams came in. She dazed and then suddenly laughed. The sound river is activated. This meant that someone has broken in. This is a perfect opportunity for us. Yimo had come to the center of Wuyin Peak. Small Ginseng's voice sounded, Boss, there is a mortal spirit source below here. It's probably the immortal range of Wuyin Peak. Yimo had come to the center of Wuyin Peak. Small Ginseng's voice sounded, Boss, there is a mortal spirit source below here. It's probably the immortal range of Wuyin Peak. Hearing this, Yimo thought he needed too much cultivation resources. The reason he only reached Immortal King middle stage after a few decades in the blue-gray dimension was because he didn't have cultivation resources. Thinking about this, Yimo immediately said, Small Ginseng, check where the immortal range is, and after you find it, tell me. I'm going to look for her. Before we find her, we can't touch the stuff here. Okay. Small Ginseng agreed and charged out of the Golden Page world and disappeared. In terms of speed, even Shadowless isn't as fast as Small Ginseng. Yimo's Spirit Sense domain and Spirit Sense blades immediately hacked out. He would hack everywhere with stealth restriction. When Yimo found some immortal spirit herb gardens, he would take them without hesitation. Yimo almost searched the entire Wuyin Peak and still found no signs of Xiaoyan. He became desperate. He was scared Wuyin had a small world or truth spirit world. That way he would never be able to know where Xiaoyan was. Crack! A light sound broke the restriction outside Mu Xiaoyan's room. Mu Xiaoyan looked at Luo Biue in shock. Luo Qianbei, what is this? It's definitely the guy that Wujia Sound River is hunting. He came into here. We need to leave quickly. This guy can break the restrictions here. He's no simple character. Xiaoyan, do you have extra clothes? Give me one set. Luo Biue took out a rune. Mu Xiaoyan took out a set of clothes to Luo Biue, but there was this indescribable feeling in her heart as though she just needed to wait a little. Luo Biue changed her clothes and said, Xiaoyan, we can go now. The sect's ceiling formation is top level, but it can't stop my rune. But Luo Qianbei, I feel my husband isn't far. Mu Xiaoyan said. Luo, beside Xiaoyan, I understand your feeling. I was just like you before. Although I don't know where your husband got this primordial chaos chant from, I'm certain that it's an extreme level cultivation method that steals the fortune of the world. It gives me the feeling that the better the talent, the faster you cultivate. People with weak talent can't cultivate this cultivation method at all. I don't know what your husband's talent is, but I'm certain it's not better than yours. Qianbei, you're saying that my husband hasn't ascended yet? Mu Xiaoyan looked at Luo Biue in confusion. Luo Biue nodded, yes. I used this opportunity of Wuyin leaving in a rush to break free from the restriction with your cultivation method. I wanted to take you as my disciple, but your cultivation method is too powerful. I don't dare to be your master. Don't call me Qianbei anymore. Call me Sister Biue. You just ascended, so I'm guessing your husband definitely hasn't ascended yet. According to what you said, you were accidentally teleported to a cultivation realm and was taken in by the top sect. That's why you had the opportunity to cultivate till immortal ascension. Your husband probably would have less chance in that small world. Wan Shuyu, this bitch, set me up and robbed my path of Dao vindication, but still can't vindicate Dao. I don't have the power to get revenge now, so I can only go into hiding. Shaoran, you have the top cultivation method, but I can tell you're a very kind soul, and you care about your husband a lot. Before you find him, even if I take you away from Wujia Sound River, it would be very hard for you to survive alone in the cultivation realm. With your talent, it's not hard for you to join a big sect, but if Wuyin, that bitch, comes back, she definitely wouldn't let you go. Offending Wuyin for you, I don't think there's such a sect in the entire immortal realm. So eventually you might still get taken away by her. Sister Bu? Mu Xiaoyan was nervous. Luo Biue was right. Even if she escaped from Wujia Sound River, where could she go? Luo Biue said, seriously, I'm going to hide and go into solitary cultivation. If you're willing, come with me. Although my cultivation method isn't as good as yours, my knowledge of cultivation is far stronger than you. I can give you a few pointers. If you can become an immortal emperor in the future, you can search the entire 33 heavens, or you can even tear open the void and look at the magical continent. Seeing Mu Xiaoyan not talk, Luo Bu sighed in reality. I don't know if your husband would still be alive when you have the ability to tear open the void, but even if he isn't, he's lucky to be able to find someone as loyal as you. Sister Bua, why don't you think I'm dumb? When I joined a sect in the cultivation realm, many people said I was dumb to long for a cultivator who wasn't even foundation establishment state. Mu Xiaoyan looked up at Luo Bua. Luo Bua sneered, dumb? Although I haven't seen your husband, I can tell he treats you very well. My husband treats me very, very well. There was a sliver of softness in Mu Xiaoyun's eyes. Those who call you dumb do so because they haven't found someone who treats them very well. So, they're jealous and angry and want to break apart all lovers and laugh hysterically. Luo Bua clenched her teeth. Sister Bua? Mu Xiaoyun said worriedly. Luo Bua waved her hand. I'll you about this in the future. Let's go first. We shouldn't stay here for long. Then, Luo Bua spat out a rune and spat some essence blood on it before saying to Mu Xiaoyan, come over quickly and hold on to me tightly. Mu Xiaoyan knew she had no choice but to follow this Sister Bua. The transmission rune activated bright light. Mu Xiaoyan couldn't even see what was before her. Just a few seconds later, white light smashed out of the transmission rune, and the two disappeared in the light. The instant their rune left Ween Peak, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, noticed it and sneered, there's a transmission rune that can break our sect's sealing formation. You're indeed no ordinary immortal king. I want to see how many good things you have. He is gone. I'll immediately chase. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, said, and then disappeared. Yimo immediately noticed the huge commotion caused by Luo Bu's rune. He soon came to Mu Xiaoyan's rune. The space ripples were still there. Yimo could immediately tell that it was caused by top-level transmission rune. Who would be here to use such high-level rune? Xiaoyan just ascended. She definitely didn't have the ability to use such rune. A familiar sensation came up his head. Yimo frowned and suddenly took out formation flags, setting up formation. He was endlessly close to level 7 Immortal Formation Grandmaster. As long as the people in this room didn't leave for too long, he could reco the image. 5 minutes later, Yimo had a crystal ball in his hand. Seeing the familiar face, Yimo's heart raced with overwhelming excitement. Xiaoyan told her cultivation method to Luo Bua. Luo Bua took away Luo Bua. Yimo could tell Luo Bua was very powerful. Yimo put away the crystal ball and let out a long sigh of relief. Xiaoyan was fine. He didn't know who Luo Bua was, but he could tell she meant no harm at all. With Mu Xiaoyan gone, Yimo didn't want to stay here anymore. Just when he wanted to call Small Ginseng sent a message. It had found the immortal range. There was 2 extreme grade immortal range. Yimo immediately came to where Small Ginseng was, and indeed, there were 2 extreme grade immortal range. Boss, let's take away both, Small Ginseng said. Yimo hesitated for a moment and said, never mind. Let's take one first, and we need to make it subtle. When I reach Immortal Emperor, I will come back and take all the immortal ranges away. With MOU Immortal Sect behind him, Yimo had to be careful. Rumbling sounds came. The entire Ween Peak was shaking. Rumbling sounds came. The entire Ween Peak was shaking. It's over. Boss, we try to be careful. Why did it still create such a commotion? Small Ginseng asked worriedly. Yimo's face changed and immediately said, this immortal spirit gathering formation means is far beyond mine. Small Ginseng, hurry up and go into the Golden Page world. I'm going to take both of these immortal ranges, and then we run. There was no need to keep being careful. Yimo took the 2 immortal ranges and dashed out of Ween Peak. When he came out, he immediately knew that the sect's sealing formation was open. His first reaction wasn't to be happy, but be worried. Xiaoyan and that woman left first. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, would definitely chase Xiaoyan thinking it was him. He couldn't let Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, chase Xiaoyan. Yimo immediately dashed down. "How are you still at Wujia Sound River?" The first person to stop him was the sect leader, Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch. Yimo stopped and looked coldly at Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch. Sect leader Ji Sheng, "I politely came to find someone, but your Wujia Sound River sealed the sect and sends an Immortal Emperor to hunt me. So you used a trick to send away Martial Uncle Wu Hui Dai." An Immortal Monarch tertiary stage released a golden sword. As soon as it was released, a 10 km long golden sword ray appeared, completely enveloping Yimo. Yimo sneered. "Good sword, but you're weak." At the same time, Yimo released Zisu, Shatter Sky. Seeing this, Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch's face changed. Yimo didn't even completely use this move before and broke Martial Uncle Wu Hui's binding. This time, the strike was fully released. Ji Yuan, Immortal Monarch, might not have it well. Without Immortal Emperor on the side, Yimo had no concerns. This blade drew a crazy lethal force, forcing away those immortal kings and low-level immortals. The nearby space was drawn nearby Zisu, forming a subtle sword mark. It was so shocking that people didn't even dare to scan it with spirit sense. It was as though if people were within range of it, they would be swept into the rune. Crack! The purple sword mark swiped across the sky, completely shattering Ji Yuan, Immortal Monarch's domain. As this purple sword rays struck the golden sword, the sword shook heavily and the golden ray immediately dimmed down. Rumble. Ji Yuan, Immortal Monarch, retreated a few km before stopping. A faint bloodstain appeared across his forehead, but Yimo didn't move at all and just looked coldly at Ji Yuan, Immortal Monarch. Ji Yuan, Immortal Monarch, was very shocked. He had never seen such a terrifying immortal king. Yimo was just Immortal King middle stage, but his power was stronger than an Immortal Monarch tertiary stage. No wonder he could escape from Martial Uncle Wu Hui. That strike seemed like he only lost a little, but if Yimo kept attacking, he would eventually lose for sure. Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch, was more shocked. He had already heard about Yimo hurting Ji Shui in one move and thought it was Jai Shui underestimating Yimo. When he saw Yimo's Shatter Sky, he realized that at the sect, no one was a match for Yimo other than the 4 Immortal Emperors. At this moment, Yimo's voice sounded. Sect leader Ji Sheng, "I believe you have messaged Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. I'll be waiting for him at the sect. I hope he doesn't make me wait for too long." Then, Yimo got on Zisu and charged towards the sect doors. Seeing Yimo fly above their sect, no one dared to stop him. These few Immortal Monarchs were very furious, and just when they were thinking about if they should gain up on Yimo, they saw Yimo stop again and turn back, saying coldly, "Today, I could have caused a bloodbath in this place, but I didn't. If something happens to my MOU Immortal Sect, then don't blame me for coming back." Then, Yimo left in a purple shadow. A mere Immortal King dares to be this cocky. An Immortal Monarch primary stage was shaking with anger. Wujia Sound River was one of the top sects in the entire Grand Heaven domain. Ji Sheng, Immortal Monarch, looked coldly at this Immortal Monarch primary stage and said, "Have you seen an Immortal King who can easily beat an Immortal Monarch tertiary stage? He's definitely not Immortal King primary stage. An Immortal Monarch middle stage," said heavily. Ji Sheng nodded. "I know, just from how his moves swept the lethal force and space itself. Even an Immortal King peak stage can't do it. It's not that they can't do it, but they don't dare to do so. If an Immortal King used such a powerful move, his own body would collapse before he hurt his opponent. Yet, after using such a move, he was completely fine. The 4 Immortal Emperors of our sect all aren't here. Otherwise, how can he be so cocky here?" another Immortal Monarch asked unhappily. But this time, no one said a thing. When Yimo was here, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, was not only here, but also tricked away. Wu Hui looked coldly at the space ripples. He was going to catch Yimo no matter what. At this moment, he felt a message in his communication bead. His spirit sense scanned in and immediately saw the news. When he saw that Yimo was still in the sect, and even injured an immortal monarch and took the two extreme, great immortal ranges of Wuyin Peak. He almost spat blood. He didn't expect the person he chased for so long wasn't even Yemo. Just when he was hesitating whether he should keep hunting these people, the second news came. An immortal king was waiting for him at the door of the sect. Being slapped in the face like this, Wu Hui, immortal emperor, was furious. For the first time, he felt like he was a clown being played. He turned back without hesitation and released a teleportation rune. As soon as Wu Hui turned, Luo Buf felt it. She let out a long sigh and said, "I didn't expect this guy's chasing ability was this strong. I was almost caught by him. Luckily this guy left, or I really wouldn't be able to keep up." "Sister Bua, why did he go back?" Mu Xiaoyan immediately asked. Luo Bua thought for a moment and said, "He's actually not here to chase us. If I'm not wrong, he's probably chasing the guy who made them open the Sound River, and then he realized he was chasing the wrong people, so he went back. But we need to leave quickly too. Best to leave Yu Heaven immediately." 3 months later, Yemo controlled the space-time boat and scrambled everywhere in the void. Only now did he realize how Kaimi felt when he chased him. Since Wujia Sound River, he was chased by Wu Hui endlessly. He was only planning to stay at Sound River for a few minutes and leave. He wasn't really dumb enough to wait for Wu Hui, immortal emperor, to come back. But even in just that few minutes, Wu Hui, immortal emperor, came back. Wu Hui, immortal emperor, actually had the rune to teleport back to Wujia Sound River. Yemo didn't know this because he had never stayed at a big sect before. In the end, he kept running, leaving from Yu Heaven into the void, but the Wu Hui, immortal emperor, still kept chasing him and was closing in. Wu Hui, immortal emperor, cursed. He lacked too much in terms of space god art. If it was some immortal emperor who had mastery in space god art, Yemo would have been caught already. But when he saw that Yemo had a space-time boat, he wanted to catch Yemo even more. "Boss, let's go to blue-gray space and ask those star beasts for help." Small Ginseng also knew that running like this wouldn't get them anywhere. "Okay." Yemo flew crazily towards the blue-gray space. 5 days later, when Wu Hui, immortal emperor, was about to catch Yemo, Yemo dashed into the bluish-gray space. When Yemo came in, he immediately knew he made the wrong decision. There was not a single star beast left. Wu Hui, immortal emperor, was right behind him. In his desperation, Yemo charged towards that new realm. Terrifying tearing power came. Yemo put away the space-time boat, but breathed easy. This tearing power wasn't much to him. He was already immortal god body power. His body was stronger than an ordinary immortal emperor body. When Yemo landed, he felt this wasn't the ground, but the hardest metal magic artifact. Before he could keep running, tens of tearing beams and lightning arcs swept over. When Yemo landed, he felt this wasn't the ground, but the hardest metal magic artifact. Before he could keep running, tens of tearing beams and lightning arcs swept over. These attacks were silent. Yemo couldn't even feel the killing intent from them before they smashed onto his body. A few sizzling sounds occurred. A few blood marks appeared on Yemo's body. Yemo was very shocked. Tens more tearing beams mixed with lightning wept over. There were even flame and rocks in between them. Yemo released that this wasn't someone ambushing him. There were these dangerous places everywhere. In other words, if he wasn't a mortal god body, he would have been killed as soon as he came here. Yemo's spirit sense scanned out. Indeed, where his spirit sense could reach, it was filled with lightning arcs, tearing beams, space fissures, flames, and rock flows. There were no immortal spirit herbs at all. When the beams struck the ground, they only created some sparks. Yemo took in a cold breath. Just what was this place? Even an immortal monarch tertiary stage would be dead for certain. If he wasn't a body refinement immortal, he would also have to be at least immortal spirit body too. Only immortal emperors could survive here, and even they would have to constantly face the endless dangers. Yemo was just dazed for a moment and rejoiced. This place was made just for him. That old bastard Wu Hui had chased him for a few months. Now it was time to get payback. Thinking about this, Yemo stopped. Although the danger here was powerful, it couldn't truly harm his immortal god body. Yemo didn't wait for long before another space ripple appeared. The next moment, Wuhui, Immortal Emperor, appeared in this space. Wuhui, Immortal Emperor, was also attacked by the dangers here. He thought the Yemo was ambushing him, so he sneered and released an umbrella. The umbrella spun a little and blocked countless attacks. Yemo sneered but didn't attack. He just watched Wuhui, Immortal Emperor, from the side. Soon Wuhui realized that Yemo wasn't behind all these attacks. He had come to an extremely terrifying place. Finally, Yemo couldn't resist anymore. He waved his hands, and rumbling sounds came into the void. Countless black, with golden-rimmed, lightning mixed in with the dangers in the dimension. In a short while, a heaven-covering lightning feast completely formed, and even took away all the lethal force in this void, forming a lightning spear. This spear immediately reached out to be 10 kilometers long. It tore through the void and pierced down. Yemo could use lightning sand against an immortal emperor without resistance. This satisfied him greatly. He didn't conserve his immortal essence and spirit sense at all. This terrifying fear strike was noticed by Wuhui, Immortal Emperor, firsthand. He saw Yemo, who didn't even block the attacks targeting him, and knew that he was at least an immortal god body refinement immortal. Fighting Yemo in here was asking for trouble. Rumble, the black lightning spear, fell. Wuhui could only barely release his Yang Dragon Wave Mirror. Upon release, it immediately shot out a rainbow light illuminating this space. The black lightning spear, mixed with destructive chi, smashed on the mirror. The mirror's vibrance immediately dimmed down and shrunk, but Yemo's lightning spear was gone too. Yemo was shocked. This immortal emperor was too savage. This was the first time his lightning spear was completely blocked without doing anything, and this was when Wuhui, Immortal Emperor, had to focus on defending himself too. If it wasn't this space, he had no right to even talk to the Immortal Emperor. Wuhui could only suppress his anger and keep inserting immortal essence into his umbrella. Although he was Immortal Emperor, he was no body refinement cultivator. Yemo rejoiced and then smashed out Su using crevice. You coward! Wuhui, Immortal Emperor, was almost about to spit blood. Fighting Yemo here was like fighting countless people plus Yemo. But Yemo didn't care at all. He was full of annoyance after being chased for so long. He even hunted a divine emperor for many years before, and now he was hunted by an immortal emperor for a few months. How could he let this go? If he didn't find an opportunity to get back at him, he wouldn't be Yemo, crack. Zisu swept the void lethal force whirlpool and clashed with the Yang Dragon Wave Mirror again, immediately sweeping away all the nearby lightning arcs and sword rays. Wuhui breathed easy. The umbrella in his hands turned into a 30 kilometers long spear and smashed at Yemo. The dark spear seemed to have pierced from outer heavens and mixed with dark star, ray tearing the void between Yemo and Wuhui, Immortal Emperor. Eventually, the entire space was filled with darkness. Yemo felt difficulty of breathing. Wuhui, Immortal Emperor's spear, made Yemo realize just how big the difference between him and Wuhui, Immortal Emperor, was, and this was under the help of this space. Just one move from Wuhui, and it made him feel he couldn't resist it at all. Yemo didn't dare to hesitate at all. He released World Rock and God Art Tang Meng Rao. This was the first time he used an offensive God Art as a defensive measure. The World Rock turned into a huge mountain that had a 100 km radius. The mountain passed through the void and smashed at that terrifying black spear. At the same time, he punched out twice using Shatter Sky. Rumble, 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 the entire space rattled heavily. Huge black spear rays were smashed away by the World Rock, creating sharp sounds. The mountain immediately dimmed down after clashing with the spear. It flew out like a comet and turned into a rock. Meanwhile, the black spear just dimmed down a little and kept attacking Yemo. So powerful. Yemo was very shocked, but released Shatter Sky at the same time. He used 2 Shatter Sky attacks consecutively, and more than 10 lethal force marks expanded out, forming lethal force whirlpools, which instantly clashed with the huge mountain-like spear ray. The terrifying explosion sounded in this space. The lethal force whirlpool and the black spear ray entwined and almost tore everything here. With the final explosion, Yemo was smashed out many km away. Even though he was a mortal god body, his fist was bloody and his bones were visible. Meanwhile, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, didn't have the time to kill Yemo before the huge spear turned back into an umbrella, stopping the endless beams and lightning arcs. He had the definite upper hand when he fought with Yemo and wasn't injured the slightest bit, but he wasn't as calm as he looked. Yemo was a mere immortal king middle stage and fought him head-on. However, he was only struck away. Not even his body was destroyed. This was too shocking. If Yemo could recover in a short time and continue holding him here, it wouldn't be good for him. At first, he might have the definite upper hand and keep heavily injuring Yemo, but as time went on, it would be hard to say. Just in the time he injured Yemo, the space beams created a few blood gashes on him. He wouldn't care about these few marks, but if Yemo kept holding him here and his wounds increased, what would happen? Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, just hoped Yemo learned his lesson and would run away for now. However, his wish was bound to not be realized. Yemo ate a few pills and released Zisu without even resting, bringing out a tearing purple ray and hacking over with the sword god Arc Crevice. Seeing Yemo still dare to come back after being beaten like that, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, almost spat blood in anger, but he had to face all the dangers in this dimension. Seeing Yemo still dare to come back after being beaten like that, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, almost spat blood in anger, but he had to face all the dangers in this dimension. Yemo's crevice god, Art, carried a sliver of space law, and once released, it would gather the nearby space and everything in it. Now, this strike brought together all the lightning strikes and sword rays which amplified his attack. Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, had to release Yang Dragon Wave Miro to defend, and the beam from the mirror struck Yemo away once again. Yemo's terrifying strike was also annihilated by the mirror. However, before Yemo fell to the ground, another lightning sand came. The mirror again blocked the lightning sand. Yemo seemed to have gone mad. Lightning spear, crevice, and world rock all kept attacking. The explosions created waves after waves of space ripples, but they were instantly swept away by the lethal force in this space. Yemo was struck flying again and again, but kept coming back to attack. Eventually, Yemo just considered Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, a cultivation sandbag. This sandbag was indeed powerful. Yemo's injuries added up, but so was Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. Because Yemo was immortal god body refinement level, not only did he receive less damage, but his recovery was much faster than Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. Eventually, Wu Hui was going mad. Yemo was too tenacious. He ignored ordinary damage and kept coming back. He felt ravaged by this space and couldn't give Yemo a lethal blow. 6 hours later, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, finally couldn't take it anymore. He didn't want to keep fighting with Yemo like this. He just went on his mirror and left. The situation was already like this. How could Yemo let Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, go? Without hesitation, he chased with Zisu. There was many dangers here, so Yemo didn't want to take out Space-Time Boat. This way, his speed was much slower than Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. Luckily, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, had to defend against the dangers in this space, and so his speed was slowed. Meanwhile, Yemo had no concerns at all. Before it was Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, hunting Yemo. Now it was Yemo hunting Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor. Being hunted by a mere immortal king middle stage, Wu Hui wanted to spit blood in humiliation. When he couldn't hold in his anger anymore, he would stop to fight with Yemo for a while. However, even though he struck Yemo away countless times, he couldn't kill Yemo. Eventually, Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, focused on running away. He knew that in such place, it was too hard to kill an immortal god body, refinement immortal. He wanted to find a place without these disasters. Only in such place would he be able to kill Yemo. However, the two chased for a few days, and this dimension was still filled with all sorts of dangers. The reason Yemo didn't want to let Wuhui go was because he was scared if he did, Wuhui would immediately go to MOU Immortal Sect. With this opportunity, Yemo clearly wouldn't waste it as he really had a chance to kill Wuhui Immortal Emperor. This was the second month. Wuhui Immortal Emperor's speed clearly slowed down. Yemo could catch up to Wuhui Immortal Emperor now, but he didn't completely stop Wuhui. He just kept coming up and using a few lightning sands. Every time Wuhui was about to fight with his life, he would run away. If Wuhui didn't fight with his life, Yemo would fight him head-on. After being hunted for 2 months, Wuhui really had lost all his temper. Wuhui knew that if this continued, he might even eventually get killed. He really didn't want to admit this, but this was reality. He even felt that a mortal king could even cultivate while hunting him. In fact, Wuhui Immortal Emperor was right. Yemo really could cultivate, but he was cultivating body refinement. After another month of hunting, Wuhui Immortal Emperor finally stopped. He knew that running would just waste his power. Just what do you want? Wuhui looked hatefully at Yemo and asked. Yemo said plainly, it's not what I want, but what you want? I politely went to Wujia Sound River to visit, but what did you say? You said you're not going to let me see my friend. What am I going to do? I'm going to tell you now. I want to kill you, old bastard. Wuhui looked younger than Yemo, but Yemo kept calling him old bastard. This made him almost attack again, but he forced himself to stop. Fighting had no benefits for him at all. Seeing Yemo finish and then about to release that stone, Wuhui Immortal Emperor quickly said, wait, I've never even heard of that Mu Shaoyan. Since you say it's at Wuyin Peak, then go find her at Wuyin Peak. Why are you coming to me? Is Wuyin Peak's Wuyin Immortal Emperor from your sect? I came to the sect for the sect leader. What business did you have in this? You had to come out and mind someone else's business? Yemo sneered. Wuhui Immortal Emperor's face was bleak, and seeing Yemo about to fight again, he could only force down his extreme fury and say, what do you want for Yudo? Stop following me. Yemo sneered, don't make it sound so nice. I'm not following you. I'm hunting you, get it? Hunting you, idiot. Then, Yemo released World Rock again. He even had anticipation for what an immortal emperor possessed. At the same time, a blue light shot into the sky in the distance. It soared up 10 kilometers high and was frostily shining. Yemo and Wuhui looked. They immediately knew someone was fighting here. This person was at least immortal emperor level. Wuhui immediately flew towards this blue light. Yemo put away the world rock and followed over. When Wuhui Immortal Emperor arrived, those two fighting immediately stopped. They were both Immortal Emperor middle stage and far stronger than Yemo. Even Wuhui wasn't enough to stand up to them. Wuhui, Immortal Emperor, what are you doing? One of the two fighting was an extremely ethereal-looking middle-aged man. Wuhui Immortal Emperor's hair was messy and was covered in wounds. If it wasn't that Yemo was only Immortal King middle stage, he would even suspect Yemo hunted Wuhui Immortal Emperor over. He was more confused how an Immortal King middle stage could come here. Wuhui Immortal Emperor immediately saluted with his fists. Wujia Sound River Wu, greet Zheng Ren Immortal Emperor. Seeing Zheng Ren Immortal Emperor's confused look, Wuhui Immortal Emperor didn't even care about saving his face. He was about to die. So he said without hesitation, Brother Zhengren, Wuhui is really ashamed. I was hunted all the way over by this little bastard. Please help me. Zhengren Immortal Emperor looked dazedly at Yemo, and his heart was full of shock. He didn't expect Yemo, a mere immortal king, could really hunt Wuhui Immortal Emperor to this degree. Did he hide his power? That immortal emperor fighting with Zhengren also looked at Yemo's side with surprise, but didn't plan to leave. This person ignored our Wujia Sound River and stole the immortal range of our Wuyin Peak. Please help a little brother Zhengren. We would be very grateful. Wuhui added. Yemo laughed and saluted with his fist to Zheng Run, immortal emperor, Gonghua heaven mo, you immortal sect leader, ye mo greet Zhengren, immortal emperor master. Wu Hui, this old bastard is twisting the truth. Please see this Zhengren, immortal emperor Qianbei. With such words, Zhengren, immortal emperor, and that other immortal emperor was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? If Yi Mo was an immortal emperor hiding his power, he would never call Zhengren immortal emperor Qianbei. No immortal emperor wanted to call another immortal emperor Qianbei. The only possibility was that Yi Mo didn't hide his power and was really an immortal king. Plus, Yi Mo said he was a sect leader from the low heaven domain. There would be no way an immortal emperor would be the sect leader of a low heaven domain sect. But an immortal king hunting an immortal emperor? This was too absurd. Just what is going on? Zheng Run, immortal emperor, was shocked for a long while before asking. Yi Mo recounted what happened when he went to Wujia Sound River. Yi Mo recounted what happened when he went to Wujia Sound River. Zhengren, immortal emperor, realized what had happened before Yi Mo even finished the entire story. Yi Mo had shockingly high potential. Even if Yi Mo didn't have much potential, he wouldn't help this clearly unreasonable Wu Hui, immortal emperor. Wu Hui, immortal emperor, clearly thought Yi Mo had secrets and felt he had Yi Mo for certain, but ended up getting hunted by Yi Mo. How could Zhengren, immortal emperor, get himself in this mess? Seeing Zhengren, immortal emperor, not talk anymore, Wu Hui, immortal emperor, immediately realized it was impossible to rely on Zhengren, immortal emperor. He didn't know the other immortal emperor at all. Seeing this, Wu Hui could only say to Yi Mo, if you dare to do anything to me, then Wujia Sound River will completely annihilate your Mo, you immortal sect. Yi Mo said coldly, if anyone from Mo, you immortal sect is harmed due to your sect, then I, Yi Mo, swear that in my life I will turn Wujia Sound River to dust. Hearing this, Wu Hui, immortal emperor, just felt shivers down his back. Even Zhengren, immortal emperor, felt a little cold. They didn't believe Yi Mo was bluffing. With how Yi Mo could hunt Wu Hui, immortal emperor, as an immortal king, if Yi Mo reached immortal emperor, Wujia Sound River would be nothing to him. Zhengren, immortal emperor, rejoiced that he didn't casually attack Yi Mo. With how Yi Mo hunted an immortal emperor, even if he attacked Yi Mo, he probably wouldn't be able to kill Yi Mo. If Yi Mo got away, then there would be endless trouble. Ah, great, He Chong, admire people like you, just kill this guy. I promise no one will stop you. The other immortal emperor, middle stage, raised his thumb and said. Zhengren, immortal emperor, heard this and felt extremely unsatisfied, but he was calm-mannered and said nothing. Wu Hui, immortal emperor, hated He Chong, immortal emperor, but didn't dare to say anything. After hesitating for a moment, Zhengren, immortal emperor, said, Yi Mo, I feel it's not good to form enemies, plus, you're the leader of a sect. There are many more things here waiting for us to dig out. It's really not worth it to waste on fighting. Yi Mo knew what Zhengren, immortal emperor, meant. It was that him hunting Wu Hui, immortal emperor, had been exposed. If he killed Wu Hui, immortal emperor, then it was forming death enmity with Wujia Sound River. Zhengren, immortal emperor, reminded him to think about his sect. Before Yi Mo answered, Zhengren said to Wu Hui, immortal emperor, the conflict between you two isn't too deep. As long as you promise you won't attack Mo, you immortal sect, I believe Yi Mo wouldn't keep hunting you. Zhengren, immortal emperor, predicted that Yi Mo wouldn't keep attacking Wu Hui after this was exposed, so he tried to be a mediator. Wu Hui, immortal emperor, knew this was his only chance. So he quickly said, as long as sect leader Yi is willing to let go of this conflict, Wu Hui would never have any excuse and wouldn't touch Mo, you immortal sect at all. Yi Mo sneered. If he didn't know that Xiaoyan had left, then he would subjugate this Wu Hui if not kill him. But now that Xiaoyan had left and he got 2 immortal ranges, he didn't need to continue this conflict. Yi Mo sneered, in that case I don't mind, but because you hunted me, I took 2 immortal ranges. If you're willing to let go of this conflict, I won't care about that 2 immortal range. Wu Hui, immortal emperor, quickly added. How come I heard that those 2 don't belong to you, but Wuyin, immortal emperor. If she comes to me, what do I do? Yimo asked. I promise Wuyin won't come for you. I'm an immortal emperor of Wujia, Sound River. Do you not believe me? I will do as I say. If Wuyin comes to you, I will take it. Wu Hui promised quickly. Yimo raised a crystal ball and said, hope you honor your promise. Even though his words were recorded, there was nothing Wu Hui could do. Yimo put away the crystal ball and walked to that other immortal emperor middle stage and saluted with his fists. Thank you, Qin Bei, for helping. Haha, no problem. I like making friends like you. Calling Qin Bei is too polite. I'm Yi Chong, just in solo cultivator. He Chong, immortal emperor, laughed. I'm Yimo, sect leader of Mo, you immortal sect. You're welcome to come visit Brother He. Yimo said, okay, I will definitely go, but now there are lots of good things here. With them both saying there were good things here, Yimo couldn't resist anymore. He lacked good things now the most. He quickly saluted with his fists and asked, Zheng Ren, immortal emperor master. Brother He Chong, just what is here? Zheng Ren, immortal emperor, immediately said, there are large amounts of immortal range buried under here, and a top-level fruit called Wuchen fruit. It has no flower, leaf, root, nor branch, but it can wash off the dust in one's heart. It's beneficial in vindicating Tao. All the immortal emperors here all want this fruit, but it's very rare. However, there's quite some immortal range. Yimo asked in confusion, how does this Wuchen fruit survive then? Even Wu Hui, immortal emperor, was listening carefully on the side. This fruit only exists in this space and floats in the lethal forces. It's often poured by the lightning arcs, beams, and flames. If a live person neared it, the fruit would flee. I saw it once since coming in, but I had no fortune in getting it. This fruit has a light golden color. Even now, I don't know why this fruit wouldn't be destroyed here. Zheng Ren, immortal emperor, sighed. Yimo sighed. This world is too magical. There are all sorts of things never heard before appearing. Zheng Ren, immortal emperor Qian Bei. I heard many immortal emperors have come in here. How come there's only you and Brother He Chong? Yimo asked. Zheng Ren, immortal emperor, immediately said, because there's no way out in here, and then immortal emperors found immortal range here, so people split off to find immortal range. Then with the appearance of Wuchen fruit, many people started searching for that. I fought with Yi Chong because there is immortal range here. Although Yimo respected Zheng Ren, immortal emperor, a lot, Zheng Ren, immortal emperor, didn't dare to underestimate Yimo. He had considered Yimo as someone equal. A being who could hunt an immortal emperor as a mortal king was definitely no simple character. Now, the four of them stood here. Only Yimo didn't use any defense magic artifact. This meant that Yimo was at least an immortal god body refinement cultivator. He wasn't dumb enough to offend someone with such huge potential. He Chong smiled and said, Brother Yimo, it's not easy to find immortal range here. You see nothing here, but there's actually an immortal range below. In this space, if the lethal force forms an arc, it means that there's immortal range below. The bigger the arc, the better the immortal range. Hearing this, Yimo studied the surrounding carefully, and indeed found that the lightning arcs, beams, and flames formed an arc shape. Zheng Ren, we've fought for quite long. We can't do anything to each other. Let's split these two equally. If it's 2, then 1 each. If it's 3, then... He Chong, immortal emperor, subconsciously looked at Yimo and Wu Hui. Wu Hui quickly said, I don't want one. There was a sliver of contempt, and continued, then Brother Yi can have one. Since He Chong said this, Zheng Ren, immortal emperor, clearly wouldn't say no to offend Yimo. He nodded, okay, let's do that. Just when they released their magic artifact to dig this place, Yimo saw a faint golden ray come over. Before it reached near, he smelled a faint aroma. This was Wuchen fruit. Yimo immediately realized what this was. Then, 8 immortal emperors appeared. Clearly, they were all chasing this Wuchen fruit. Yimo had large amounts of experience catching corner soul weed and void flying snow. He knew that something as lively as this would be extremely hard to catch, if he was chasing this behind. A few immortal emperors all couldn't catch up to it. Yemo had large amounts of experience catching corner soul weed and void flying snow. He knew that something as lively as this would be extremely hard to catch if he was chasing this behind. A few immortal emperors all couldn't catch up to it. The Wuchen fruit might not be as fast as the void flying snow, but it was more lively than void flying snow. It had a sliver of space attribute too. Sometimes you were clearly just about to catch Wuchen fruit, but it would suddenly speed up or jump through space and disappear. If it was an immortal emperor chasing the Wuchen fruit, it would be long gone. These immortal emperor could catch the weak ripples in space and thus didn't lose track of it. Seeing the Wuchen fruit fly towards him, Yemo immediately stealthed his chi and didn't even use Spirit Sense Net. If Spirit Sense Domain or Net could catch it, the fruit would have been long caught. Yemo's guess was really right. If Wuchen fruit was touched by any spirit sense, it would immediately dash away. When the Wuchen fruit was near Yemo, Yemo suddenly reached out his hand and a jade box stopped the Wuchen fruit. Then Yemo put restrictions on the box and put it in his storage ring. Now, these few immortal emperor landed around everyone. They were all very cunning. Although Yemo was only a mere immortal king, no one attacked immediately. Yemo stood in this space without a defensive magic artifact, and the nearby lightning arcs and beams didn't seem to affect him at all. They would immediately disappear upon striking Yemo. Clearly, Yemo was at least immortal god body. In the immortal realm, immortal spirit body was already very rare, and immortal god body was extremely rare. Some people had never even seen someone who could practice body refinement to such level. He, Brother Zhengren, and Wu Hui, immortal emperor. One person came and saluted with his fists. Zheng Run, immortal emperor, quickly saluted with his fists and greeted. Yemo saw clearly that there was no grand emperor amongst these 7 immortal emperors. There was probably no Wuyin, immortal emperor too. The strongest was an old man. He heard Zheng Run, immortal emperor, call him Nong Yin, immortal emperor. He was immortal emperor tertiary stage. Yemo found strangely that these immortal emperors all knew Zheng Run, immortal emperor, and Wu Hui, but not He Chong, immortal emperor. One immortal emperor middle stage looked at Yemo in confusion and asked, "Who is he?" "Oh, this is Gonghua Heaven Mo, immortal sect leader Yemo," Zheng Run, immortal emperor, introduced. Yemo went up and saluted with his fists. Yemo greet Qian Bais. "You're really an immortal king?" That immortal emperor asked again, clearly confused how an immortal king could appear here. But then he immediately realized Yemo was an immortal king, but he was an immortal god body refinement immortal. Yemo didn't seem very old, but not only was he immortal god body, but also an immortal king. Clearly he had quite some secrets. Everyone said nothing, but a few immortal emperor was already brewing intentions for Yemo. Yemo cultivated 3-birth chant and immediately felt a faint sense of danger. But Yemo wasn't worried. In this space, he was no match for these immortal emperor indeed, but he could run away. Zheng Ren, immortal emperor, sneered. If Yemo was so easily mugged, he would have been in Wu Hui, immortal emperor's hands already. No one knew He Chong, immortal emperor, and he didn't go up to greet anyone. He just kept smashing his magic artifact against the hard earth. At this moment, the dense immortal spirit chi came up, and everyone's eyes were immediately caught by the immortal spirit chi. Haha, it really is 3 extreme great immortal range. I'll take one first. He Chong laughed and took out one. Now, these immortal emperor just realized that Zheng Run, immortal emperor, and them already found immortal range here. Extreme great immortal range was hot, but no one fought for it. If it was outside, they might be fighting over it, but in this space, it's not hard to find them as long as you tried. Zheng Run, immortal emperor, went up and took the second one. Just when everyone thought Wu Hui, immortal emperor, would be taking the third one, they found that the immortal king middle stage Emo went up and took the third one. These immortal emperors were immediately in shock. There were only 3 immortal ranges. There was no way Emo had a right to take it. Why didn't Wu Hui, immortal emperor, take it? Wu Hui felt he was embarrassed to the extreme, but even so, he didn't want to explain it. Haha, He-chong will be leaving first. Brother Yemo, this is my communication bead. Contact me if you need. Then He-chong disappeared. Yemo took it, and then saluted with his fist to Zheng Run, Immortal Emperor, and a few Immortal Emperor Masters. Wan Bei will be leaving. Wait! That Immortal Emperor middle stage asking who Yemo was immediately stopped him. He thought Yemo was related to He-chong, Immortal Emperor, and that's why Zheng Run, Immortal Emperor, and Wu Hui were concerned. But now, He-chong, Immortal Emperor left, and left Yemo a communication. Clearly, the two didn't know each other before. A few other Immortal Emperors also came up. They had made up their mind if Yemo had a top-level body, refinement cultivation method, they must get a copy no matter what. Yemo stopped but didn't talk. He respected their power but didn't mean he was scared. He felt these Immortal Emperors had bad intentions, so he wasn't going to polite with the rest of them. Demon Joy Sect X Xian Feng. Sect leader, you could come here alone with just Immortal King power. You're clearly not ordinary. Xian Feng, Immortal Emperor, seemed polite but spoke in a Qian Bei tone. Yemo didn't like Demon Joy Sect people already, and with this tone, Yemo didn't like him even more. Xian Feng didn't seem to care if Yemo would reply or not, and just said, "We chased that Wu Chun fruit over. You're quite lucky to be able to stop it for us." Yemo sneered and said nothing. He wanted to see how shameless Xian Feng, Immortal Emperor. Seeing Yemo still not talk, Xian Feng, Immortal Emperor, was a little unhappy. He sneered as Qian Bais, "We wouldn't ask a Wanbei to help for no reason. If you give over the Wuchen fruit, I will reward you a few pills." "So this means you guys are growing the Wuchen fruit here?" Yemo sneered. Xian Feng, Immortal Emperor's face sunk. "You're a mere immortal king. What use do you have for it? Do you not want to take it out?" "You're right, I don't like to take out my things," Yemo said while running his immortal essence. Xian Feng, Immortal Emperor, sneered and grabbed at Yemo. No other Immortal Emperor wanted to say anything, and Wu Hui, Immortal Emperor, sneered on the side. He knew this Xian Feng, Immortal Emperor. He was indeed a little stronger than him, but that was because Xian Feng, Immortal Emperor, was Immortal Emperor middle stage. A mere Immortal Emperor middle stage dared to be so casual and use his hand to grab Yemo. He was too cocky. Wu Hui wasn't going to remind Xian Feng. He had suffered too much in Yemo's hands. If others didn't suffer in Yemo's hand, he wouldn't feel satisfied. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.